Free.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Pylon Show. Unfortunately, In Control cannot be here today. He is actually out casting Warhammer. So a little bit of a game trader, but Warhammer is a good game, so you can check him out. It's his first big Warhammer cast. Check it out, twitch.tv/Warhammer. And so it'll be just the Tosis today, but really not just the Tosis, because I got three wonderful guests here, and of course Cobra behind the camera, although we can see him. We should put a little camera of him doing his job in there.
Like in the corner.
Yeah, we need a Cobra cam.
It's a little tiny one. He puts a little post-it note over it when he wants some privacy. Okay, so we have Maynard. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, dude. How are you?
I'm excellent, because I watched GSL last night, but we'll get into that later. Rifkin, how are you doing?
I'm a little tired because I just finished casting all day, but I'm very excited to be hanging out with some cool dudes.
Well, I'm going to post some
And
feedback for you in a little bit, Rifkin, but again, we'll get into that a little bit later as well. And first-time guest, it's Jon Snow. How are you doing?
Doing great. Just took a little nap, so I'm feeling energized.
Yeah, how are your marbles doing?
Pretty good. A little bit of RNG there. That helped me out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You just got to take boost, dude. It helps out.
I did like 3 times.
Yeah. All right. So let me go ahead and talk about our sponsors real quick, and then we'll get right into the show. First off, Matcherino, guys. These guys have been supporting us really almost since the very beginning of the show. Check it out at matcherino.com/Pylon Show. We have voice packs up there, the Tastosis and In Control ones. So if you don't have those yet, go buy them. They are the best voice packs. At least the Tastosis one is for sure. Jon Snow, you use that in tournaments that you win, right?
Yes.
You see that? I didn't pay him to do this. And of course, we have all sorts of cool stuff there: mugs, T-shirts, all that great stuff. And we do have a code that you can type in to just make money appear out of nowhere. I don't know how that works, but the code this week is Tastosis. Most people actually spell Tastosis wrong. I don't know if you know this, but it's Tastosis. So type that in, and you'll help us out. Okay, so that's Matcherino. And then, of course, our other sponsor, AFKT, AFKT.com. I'm drinking it right now. I've been drinking it a lot. It's actually fantastic. Huh?
Pinky's out when you drink it?
This is like a really heavy cup, but I'll do it.
Oh, yeah, that's not going to work. I thought that was a much smaller
You got this.
cup.
You got this. You can do it. Yes, nice.
I'd support with my other hand. But yeah, it's really good stuff. And loose leaf tea tastes so much better than teabag tea. Like, I drink teabag tea. I've been lazy for a few years because I have kids, and then I got this big shipment of the loose leaf tea, and it's fantastic. So check out afkt.com. It'll make you feel better than coffee does, and better than energy drinks does as well. So definitely check that out. And the code that we have for that is Pylon. We are so original with our codes. But thank God it's not National Hamburger Day or whatever the hell this week. So those
you don't
are
like it when I get creative, do you? You complain about it, and they're boring. I can't please them, guys.
No matter what you do, I'm going to complain. I am a Starcraft guy. Now, let's go ahead and just jump into this week in Starcraft real quick. And luckily, I have some good guys here to help me out. Our incoming transmission, number 14 from Nice Username, is up. And number 14 is with Wardy. So that is going to be an interesting one, no doubt. Wardy, the center of drama occasionally, and obviously one of the bigger casters in the scene, doing stuff all the time. Number 15 will be released on Friday the 31st with a premium arcade developer named Daniel Pirate Altman, and he won the RTC contest in 2015, so that's pretty cool. Number 16 will be with Zombie Grub, someone everyone here knows very well. That'll be on Monday the 3rd, so Nice Username, really starting to pump out more of these incoming transmissions. Definitely check those out. From Pig, he is doing the Icy Far Challenge still. It looks like the challenge this week he calls in the rear with the gear. You may only attack by counterattacking and backstabbing your opponent, not attacking their army from the front. You send your submissions to the email, YonBlue95, and Icy Far is the title. You can go look up the rules a little bit better yourself, but that's actually a really cool challenge, I gotta say, because if you actually give yourself a challenge like that one, you're gonna actually learn quite a bit. Counterattacking is pretty good. It's Our Zerg player Jon Snow knows that, right? You counterattack people while listening to the Tastosis voice pack. Am I correct?
It's true.
Yeah,
There's one
look at
voice
this.
pack that has like someone's telling me it has an advantage because it says something that normal voice packs don't. I forget what it was.
Damn,
I think it
a
was PLL.
competitive
He's saying there's a
advantage.
competitive advantage for one of the voice packs.
That's the Tastosis one for sure.
Probably, I think so.
All right. I'm liking having Jon Snow on here. I'm going to just get him to say some stuff and like program it into my little Stream Deck thing and press the button.
Yeah, what do you call this thing? The soundboards?
Yeah, Jon Snow soundboard. He endorses everything I do. All right. We have from someone named Jordan, just Jordan. In fact, you can check him out on Twitter as XJustXJordanX. But when he introduces himself, he doesn't say XJustXJordanX. He says just Jordan. So I don't know how that works, but good on him. I guess there's silent X's. I never learned about those in school.
Those are like Brood War X's. You remember people used to always put those in front of their names in Brood War and stuff?
Yeah, it looked cooler like that. That is true. It's like X, small X, big X, small X type of thing, and on both
Super
sides.
Saiyan 9, Artosis.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Sephiroth 666.
Watch out, 3 X's means death.
But I'm pretty sure there's never been a Call of Duty pro gamer without an X in their name as well. So that's like it's pretty big in a lot of scenes.
It's the coolest letter in the alphabet. What can we say?
Exactly.
So he did another Wacky Build Wednesday video. I actually checked it out right before this. It's about 5 minutes long, and it features a build from Liquid Mana where he didn't lose any Blink Stalkers, killing off Namshar. So that's kind of neat. I didn't realize that these videos were being made, but kind of cool to pull out like a strange build and make a very quick video about it when something's like 5 minutes long. It's very digestible. So cheers to him. Looks like an interview from Drexama at DREKKSAMA with Scythe, Psystorm, and Meliora, all StarCraft esports teams. And it's called Why Own StarCraft Team? Interview by Inside the Scene, episode number 4. I'm really jealous because I had this idea to do, but we've kind of had like a lot of other stuff going on with the Pylon show. But But you know what? This is great that he made this. So definitely go check that out. Those are people that really support the scene a lot, Scythe and Meliora and Psystorm. So very cool to see what they think about that.
Did they gauntlet you? Is that what happened there? They did it before you?
Well, yeah, that's... If I have an idea in my head and I don't tell anyone, it's okay to go ahead and take that. It's not the hardest idea to come up with, I'll admit. But it's a great idea to talk about, right? Because these are like new teams that are joining the space and sponsoring. And I mean, as far as Psystorm, definitely a very good team. Would you agree, Jon Snow?
Oh yeah, the greatest.
All right, look at that.
Almost as good as the Tastosis sound pack.
See, this guy knows. He knows how to do it. Also coming up, and this is going to be, I guess, later today from ES Champ, who've been making really great content. They are doing a thing called Inside the Scene. It says StarCraft is an older community, and with age comes maturity. Well, yeah. I'm a living testament. That's not true. But how does that translate to dealing with female players? Is the community really as mature as we believe? And the guests will be Atira 185, Alaris, Zerg Girl, and Zombie Grub. So that's actually a really cool idea to have a panel of some of the top women in our scene talking that out. So definitely check that out. eschamp.com/inside-the-scene. There has to be a better way to give people links than me like spelling things out. All right. Banshee tournament number 3 by Zombie Grub. The champion was Telia, who defeated Kyla to win the prize pool of over $2,000. So you can check that out. That was the women's tournament that Zombie Grub was casting.
I don't believe the prize pool was over $2,000.
It's no. What happened there is that they have almost that much in donations, which is going to fund like several tournaments, but each tournament is like a $180 or $200 prize pool.
Okay.
So it just means there's going to be a lot of tournaments.
Yep.
All right.
And also, Talea is someone you might remember from WCS 2012, Dan, when you came down Australia. That's Nightlight.
I do. She was really good, too.
Yeah, that game against Moonglades was one of my favorites in Wings Liberty.
She was legit.
For sure.
All right. So definitely definitely a cool thing. I remember Jeff threw some money into the pot as well. Definitely check that out, everybody, and you can check it out on Matcherino as well.
Just a
you
side
have
note
to
for
go-
Cobra,
Yeah.
your bot is spewing the wrong code, and that might be why people are having some confusion about it in chat. It's telling people to use the code LEMON.
Which code is this? Lemon for what?
I think that was a previous week's
Matcherino.
code.
Oh, okay. Was it
So the code
National Lemon Day?
Probably. I don't know, but the code is Tastosis, guys. There's a lot of people have been asking about this in chat. It's just the bot spewing the wrong information.
Thank you. Thank you, Rifkin. You're always so helpful on the show. All right, we got a couple more things real quick. Zerg build guide from Beardy. This is someone that we have seen make some content, talked about before. Check it out. He put it on sc2swarm.com, and it's a 2-base Roach ZVZ style guide that a 6K NAGM Zerg helped him to write. So definitely very useful. Also, the Q-Lash Invitational or Clash is going on still. Cyril still dominating 5-0, top of his group. And it looks like a laser is winning the other group right now. Just more and more matches continue to occur. That's being casted by Roddy and Rhett and Wardy, I believe.
I just want to give a quick nod to those guys because so many channels do what they do, where they make a new channel and try and host content on it, and it gets no numbers and no viewers. Like Ballistics Brawl was a good example of this, right? These guys are actually pulling like 2,000 viewers a cast and stuff. I don't know what they're doing right or where they're advertising, but I just want to give some props because years of watching people do this like incorrectly. It's nice to see somebody doing it right.
Yeah. Rifkin, what I've noticed they do is they have like a laser Lambo, and I think like maybe Wardy and Roddy stream, then they host it right after, so it gets like the initial bump. So they kind of get their whole org to help it out.
Hey, that's networking, man. Hell yeah.
That's smart. That's smart. But how many viewers is it without the Chinese viewers?
I wonder.
Okay. Enough terrible jokes. So definitely check out the Clash tournament that has been going on for weeks and weeks and weeks. Just so many games to be had in there. There's something about some tournament called BTSL. Do you want to fill us in about that, Rifkin?
Yeah, just some cool results. We had the round of 8 finish up from Korea, and then we literally just today, like 2 hours ago, finished up the European playoffs. So we know the top 3 players go into the cross-server finals. But yeah, Stats ended up 3-0ing Rogue at the end of the day, which is not crazy, but pretty good. And then, of course, Dark took first place in the group. So we're going to see Dark and Stats playing the playoffs for Korea, and it's, I believe, Cure and Gumiho opposite of them. So we're going to have really good matches for the playoffs. But today's results were pretty cool because, well, a lot of you might not, like, you just roll your eyes at the Zerg success. We had Snoot, Nurchio, and Raynor be the top 3 players to go to the cross-server finals. But most notably, Raynor beat Nurchio in the best of 7 grand finals, making this a second season where Raynor has won BTSO Europe, but he couldn't play season 1 because he couldn't fly out to Canada. So it's going to be nice having this be all online so he can actually go and claim his title type thing.
Nice. All right. And what do you have any info about when this continues, when people can
Korea? The Korea playoffs are on this coming Monday, so after the weekend. And then we don't know when the crossover is happening yet because all of these NA kids keep forgetting that they're part of WCS and telling me that they're good to go, Jon Snow, with certain dates, and then realizing, oh, wait, we can't play on those dates. In fact, they don't even tell me. It's WCS casters I'm talking with that tell me.
Yeah.
So I have to go back to the players and be like, hey, you guys are actually so stupid.
It's like, oh, yeah, it's in Montreal in a week.
Yes. So it's very difficult finding time to do North America. But we'll have the crossover finals announced in big, flashy Twitter, Team Liquid, everywhere once we know when that's happening. But I'm actually going to just quickly add something in here since I didn't get to submit this. This weekend, while I'm not going to be here, I'll be at PAX. Wardy and Zombie Grub are going to be running the Ting Open preseason cups. They're $150 per tournament, open sign up to anybody from any region. And Ting is going to be putting on 8 of these leading up to season 5.
Cool. Very good. We'll definitely update as that moves forward. And as far as the week in StarCraft, we always save the best for last. The Pizza Pie Weekly.
I've loved this.
Rifkin, how many pizzas have you given out for your tournaments?
You know what? None. I am ashamed. I should be doing better.
People talk about what you do for the scene, but do you feed people with pizzas? No, you don't. The Pizza Pie Weekly does, though.
Oh, what
And
never heard
John
of it.
says so.
Why am I not playing in it?
yeah, you just win a pizza. You're really good. You probably win.
Are you
I
going
don't
to get
think the
free
pro
pizza
gamer
in Montreal? I don't think
figured
so.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
open
think
to
so.
American players. Coltaren has been casting it. Definitely check it out on challenge, all-inspiration.challenge.com. Yeah, it looks like Starkiller SC helped himself to delicious pizza. So congratulations to him for winning that tournament. Okay, that's this week in StarCraft. It's time to talk about, well, I guess other things that happened this week in StarCraft. Wow, this is. Did we name these sections correctly? Okay, so first up on the board is WCS, the qualifiers. We just finished them up. I'm going to surprise you. Rifkin, guess who won Europe? You're never going to guess it.
I'm gonna go bold first and say Zerg, and then, was it Cyril?
Oh my God, how'd you know? You're so good.
Oh my God, what was my prize? What did I win?
Not a pizza pie. I'm so sorry. Jon Snow, who do you think won in NA?
NA.
I don't know if you turned the stream off after you were eliminated in the round of 8, but do you take a guess?
I think it was Neve. That's what I'd predict.
Yeah. He did kind of smash through that. It's kind of the results that we've come to expect over time. But Jon Snow, you played in the NA one, and I think Neve probably impressed you based on your tweets last night during GSL. What would you say?
Yeah, he gave me a good clapping, as In Control would say. Yeah, 3-0. It's pretty bad. He makes you look bad. That's like Neve's strategy. He just is brutal, destroys you. I felt kind of bad, but then after I checked back later, saw he 3-0'd Scarlet or 4-0'd Scarlet. It felt a bit better, It makes you feel better.
Some pretty big domination. Did he win every every challenger this year? Because Sarah won everyone in Europe.
Did Scarlet take one, or did Massa?
She might have. Oh yeah, didn't I think Massa went to the finals of one and then lost, didn't he?
I'm not sure. I have to look it up.
Like I believe so. Okay, well I didn't come very prepared. Sorry about that.
Yeah, you got history.
If I could actually ask a question, since we have Jon Snow here, Mr. Pro Gamer, like, absolutely. Before I ask this question, because it's going to sound mean, like, I absolutely respect and I love watching you play, and I invite you to stuff because I know you're good at this game.
I know.
What happens when it comes to a situation like Neve? Like, I'm not a pro player. I can't understand that because he's like, I see you beat so many other people. Why can't you beat? Is it just something where he's too good at predicting you? More practice in Korea? Like, what do you think that is? Because he is like a step above the rest.
It's either a mental block or it's just like, it just feels like because I feel like I need to take gambles to beat him right, but then every gamble I take, it just seems like you just punish it right away. And it was like the wrong choice every step of the way. I don't know. Because like in my series, it definitely felt okay. I think if I played things differently, I could have taken a couple maps at least. Like especially at Redshift, I think I was in like a game-winning position, but then I was like, how about I just skip roaches and go straight to Hydroling? And then he did like Archon drop really quick, and I was like, oh, I'm just dead.
Yeah, he's pretty all right at StarCraft. What do you think about his overall domination this time around, though? He went 14-1 to win this challenger.
I think
damn.
as long as his PVZ is really good, I think there's no NA that can like really challenge him. It's really just Scarlet, I think. But his PVZ has always been his best, but sometimes Zerg's pretty good, and he's pretty tilted. But I think this time around he's been practicing for Rogue, and I just don't think anyone could match him.
Yeah, looks pretty ridiculous. We'll talk more about Neeb momentarily here. Did you guys catch any of WCS Challenger Europe?
I caught the end of it because it was sort of, I caught the start of Europe and the end of NA because it was during sleepy time hours for Australian. I'm yet to catch the VODs, unfortunately. But I did, really, really incredible performance there from Cyril. I loved that he does bleed, though, which is nice. Like, he is extremely dominant, but there were people that he was losing maps to, which was good to see in Challenger. It gives me a little bit of excitement for like the not so much, generally the group stages happens to most people's expectations at Montreal and whatnot, but the round of 16 and stuff is when stuff starts to get weird. There was Haas and Valencia, Manor and Austin, even Lambo to a lesser degree, surprising a lot of people at how deep he could go. I'm really excited to see, like, specifically Thermal is someone I've been a fan of for a long time. He looked amazing this Cyril in that one game that he won. It was just it was a Hellbat Banshee thing, so it's not like, the most amazing thing in the whole world. It was just that, Cyril's a guy that I haven't seen lose to that in, I feel like, 2 years. So it was cool to see.
Well, this funny thing, the gap is closing thing, I think it's happening towards Cyril. Like he went 14-4. I mean, that's good, but he's definitely losing more and more maps to everybody. The games are getting closer. I think the rest of the Europeans are catching up a little bit. So
yeah, and Scarlet nearly eliminated him from Valencia. A lot of people have forgotten that. They went to game 5, and it was very, very close. And honestly, that final game, Scarlet very, very nearly won. She felt like she threw it. I spoke to her the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like a handful of players I think have really good chances against Sarah, like Thermal, Scarlet, a Laser players. So there's definitely some dangerous players for him. It's just
just not in Korea.
Yeah.
A Laser even started 2-0 against Cyril.
And then Cyril brought out the cheese in game 3, and it's like not like the best cheese, but I think it caught the Laser off guard. But it definitely could have been 3-0 start.
Yeah. Well, Challenger, I mean, it kind of the results that I guess we were expecting, but we'll do a big preview of Montreal next week, right before it starts. Are you going to Montreal, Jon Snow?
Yeah, I'll be there.
And you told Rifkin that ahead of time, right? Yeah.
Just did a show like 10 minutes ago. So yeah. All
right. So let's jump on. I really want to kind of get into these juicy topics that we do have today. Let's see. After WCS, we have GSL. Round of 8. Did you guys watch last night?
I did. I watched all of it.
Didn't get to watch it, but I followed the results as soon as I woke up, man.
For me, it was a very bittersweet evening for me of GSL, Dan. And I was extremely happy for Neeb. That was the big high of the day. Was just that Neeb managed to beat Rogue, but you have to acknowledge that Neeb played incredibly well, but you also have to acknowledge that Rogue played really weird, right? Like, am I the only one that sort of watched Rogue's games and was kind of like, this is kind of like how he plays online. Like, online, Rogue is very experimental and can often just get completely floored by someone playing standard. But generally on stage at GSL or like at a big tournament like an IM or whatever, or even BlizzCon for that matter, he really steps it up and goes to like his safe place, which is just being a really solid Zergle around. But at GSL, he was like trying to do something really weird. He was trying to make mutas work, and
I didn't watch the games, right? But I thought when he lost to like Stats, we saw him playing in BTSL on Monday. I thought, okay, you know what? There's probably some degree here where he's hiding some builds, or he doesn't want to show off, like, because he's got GSL coming up. But to hear that, like, he was playing really weird in BTSL too, which had me like raising all these question marks. So it's very interesting that he would actually still play that way when it comes to GSL.
I have a feeling that, like, when players do this, generally it means that they're not confident or kind of frustrated with a matchup and are trying to figure out something to maybe try and bamboozle their opponent. It doesn't look like he's prepared for Neeb. Like, he didn't look at Neeb and go, "Oh, this is how I beat him." It was like I'm trying to play the matchup differently. It's what it felt like to me. I mean, I could be wrong. I'm happy to be wrong, but it was very, very weird from Rogue. The other low of the evening was just how I was, Leonok couldn't help it. It's not his fault. He got sick. He had to go to hospital. If you guys didn't know, Leonok talked about it in his interview before the games. He had gallstones, I think. So it's like a pretty painful condition. Then he had surgery to fix it. Like, it didn't pass them. So they, obviously he's not in good health. He's in a fair bit of pain. And you could really tell that the Leonok that played last night in GSL was very different from the Leonok up until the end of round of 16. Like, the round of 8 Leonok just wasn't the same. And it felt really sad because I was really hyped for him. I mean, that was another series that was bittersweet for me because I love TY. He's my favorite Terran in the whole world. Like, yeah, maybe it should be Murray, maybe it should be whoever, but it's not. TY is my favorite Terran and has been for years.
And you're
so
right about
as a
that.
fanboy, I was really happy. But yeah, I was just really sad that the series looked like that because I know Leonok can do way better. I just hope that he comes back in 2019 and doesn't get ejected because I know he's been talking about retirement. Hopefully that's just talk and he looks back at 2018 and he's just like, hey, I've never been better at Starcraft than I was like the last season of GSL, and I really think that 2019 I can do it again. And hopefully he does that because He's definitely made a fan out of me from just this season of GSL alone.
Jon Snow, you have to have things to say about Neeb.
Okay. So yeah, on that rogue thing, I guess in the beginning he's like, whatever you prepared, it's not gonna help, because he was kind of like getting in his head, like didn't play weird. It felt like he was playing how like Dark plays, not Dark, and doesn't know how to play like Dark. He was just doing these really kind of off meta builds. Because the one game that he played how he played, like just Roach Hydra into Muta into Lurker, he just kind of bopped Neeb. But then all the weird games, Neeb just crushed him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Neeb's like ridiculous solidity in the series really kind of showed up. Like I was getting very excited, but Neeb was like too solid. If he was like a slightly less solid Protoss, I think that this could have been a really interesting series. But like for instance, I guess the third game where Rogue is sitting there making roaches, right? And then like he's trying to get into the Spire against the Archon drop, and then Neeb is like, oh, I just pressured all the right times. And he's like, oh shit, I have to buy all roaches and ravagers. And I'm like, oh, well that isn't gonna go well. Like I like the idea by Rogue, but
Neeb played amazing in that acid plant game. It was just like, because that's
holy shit.
Normally Neeb kind of loses that situation, just like the Korean has a lot of macro and just kind of crushes him and he gets tilted, but then he just kind of just held everything.
But then Dreamcatcher Rogue was just like, oh, I'm gonna go +1 Lings, which makes a lot of sense.
What was that?
And then he was like, I'm going to go on a Hive. I'm not going to get a Spire. I'm not going to get a Hydra Den. I'm just going to make a lot of Ling Bane. And I was actually saying in chat, I'm like, is this ZVT? Like, I've seen a lot of Zergs, specifically like Stefano and that, just go mass Ling Bane against Terrans and just not make anything else until Hive. Like, I've seen that. But against Protoss, you got Archons and Mortals and Storm, my friend. You need to worry about all those things. You need things that aren't Lings and Banes. Like, I saw a Viper towards the end there, and then he went into Ultras. Neeb had double Robo Immortal. He had like 6 Immortals already, and then A moved into his third base. It was like, okay.
I'd love it explained to me, Jon Snow, what the hell Rogue was doing in Game 4.
So it can work. Like normally when you go with that like +1 melee thing, you're like trying to cancel the third, put a lot of pressure on. But Neeb took 0 damage, and then since he didn't have any Corruptors or any Hydras or anything, Neeb's like, well, I'm just gonna do a ton of damage with my Phoenix, and just kept poking in. I think he's thinking that maybe just because he has Queens, Neeb's gonna fall back and try and defend. And then maybe he rushes out Ultras and then crushes everything, but Neeb just took no damage and then dealt a ton of damage and just snowballed. So, you know, like it definitely can work if you have tempo the whole game, but Rogue had no tempo.
Yeah, I'm used to that build being able to cancel the third base, and then Neeb was just like, no, yeah, I know I'm going Phoenixes, but no, there's no chance here. And it was like, oh my God, it just... I don't know, it feels weird because Rogue, when he's on, for me, is like the best Zerg. Like, I know Serral right now is basically the best Zerg, but when Rogue is like playing his A game and like,
Blizzard Rogue, IEM.
Yeah, nothing to me in the entire game across all races looks as strong as that. But some of these series, I'm like the series against Innovation and GSL versus World, I thought was really weird from Rogue. This series last night, I was very excited because he was doing these other builds. And sometimes Rogue comes out and he brings something. You're like, oh, I guess that's how you're supposed to play, right? But
maybe
not
he's
last
lost
night.
Motivation because he's got 2 pretty huge checks this year. Maybe he's just kind of chilling till BlizzCon. I'm not sure. But he looked real sad when he lost. He seemed really upset. So it looks like he's still trying hard. I don't know.
He keeps dying in the round of 8 as well. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like this was just like the culmination of everyone doing all this weird stuff versus Neeb, like year after year, like Scarlet, Dark, all these people just kind of cheese him and do a bunch of weird stuff. So I was like, he has to like practice this. Like that's why when I played him, I was like, I don't think he's gonna die to Swarmo stuff anymore. I think he's definitely got it down.
I got another question for the panel. Oh, sorry, Rifkin, you go first.
Oh, I was gonna say, I feel like a lot of people don't appreciate that people can have slumps too. Like a lot of the time, because when we cast Koreans on base trade TV, everyone comes in expecting like the pinnacle of StarCraft 2 evolution, right? And if somebody misplays, it must be match fixing. Like sometimes you can have like a bad week, a bad case of the yips or whatever, right? I'm not saying that's what this is, but maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's not match fixing. Anyone who says that is absolutely like.
No, I mean, like that's an extreme example. Right? But my point is, it's possible for you to have a bad week, to have an off time, to just. Like Euthermal, for me, the foreign scene is a good example of this. 1 week, this guy is like a god, cannot be touched. Then another, he just can't beat any Zerg players, and it happens. But people don't give that credit to Koreans ever for some reason.
It can feel suffocating in Korea because there's just so many people gunning for that top spot. And if you feel like you're just not confident, I guess like how are you going to compete with Dark and Maru and all these guys?
Yeah, everyone's human.
Most definitely confident, especially Dark, no matter who's against.
So I have a question. Neeb TY in the round of 4. How does that look, guys? Before we switch off a GSL, I guess I'd like to talk about that.
Yeah, well, I'm a little bit torn because the more I was looking at this bracket, the more I was like, Leenock is going to be a GSL champion. But yeah, I mean, we already kind of talked about how sad that is. He got really sick and stuff, and so I really did. This is not the match I expected. I actually thought we were going to see Rogue Leenock in the round of 4. And when Neeb won, I'm like, oh, Leenock's going to the finals. But here, Neeb TY, like, I don't, because Neeb got really seriously bashed by Maru, but Maru and TY couldn't really be more different as TVP players, I would say. Like, TY is so about, hitting multiple places at once and all this stuff, but I think that Neeb is a pretty solid defensive Protoss, right? So
I think he'll need to be very defensive. I think TY is going to. I think his TVP series against Neeb is going to look just like his last TVP series. It's going to be a lot of factories not at home, a lot of barracks is not at home. He's only going to build supply depots in his main. That's what I was. It's the only thing I'm going to see.
About that, though, right? Neeb is somebody who, well, perhaps not the most vocal. He's so dedicated to what he does, and I'm sure, for example, he's going to practice the hell. He'll ask Special to cheese him in a bunch of games or something. Like, he'll practice against that, and if he holds it off, I guarantee you, Neeb's never going to flinch. But I've cast at least so many games firsthand where I thought Neeb was going to win the series, no problem. Someone gets under his skin, and he just never recovers. So I think it's one of those things where it's going to be a one-sided series, but like one way or the other.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he always says Terran on land is the scariest thing ever, just because they have so many cheeses, and it's just like if one thing goes wrong, they just destroy you. And it's always really scary when you see him face like you Thermal or Special at WCS.
Yeah.
But he's still going to win, though. There's no doubt. No doubt.
No doubt.
Why are you so confident about Neeb? Like your tweets last night, when I saw those, I was like, okay, I got to get this guy on the show.
I was sure. And I also called it when he beat Rogue at that Chinese tournament, when he won that.
Oh, yeah?
I was like, yeah, there's no way.
I mean, when he looks a broken clock is right twice a day.
I'll just start rooting for Cyril then. Like all the casters,
that's an easy one. That's easy.
It's the easy choice. I don't know. I'm way more confident with him versus Zerg. Like, if it was him versus Leenock, I don't think he drops a game. I think he could destroy Leenock.
Kid doesn't believe in Leenock. It's crazy. Crazy. You're a Zerg player. You should be able to see what I see. So what are we thinking? Does Neeb go to the finals? Is he going to Royal Road? If he goes to the finals, he can beat whoever comes up on the other side for sure. If you can beat Rogue, well, I mean, there's no more Zergs, right? But if you beat TY in a best of 7, because I think TY is ridiculously good at prepping. Yeah, it's best of 7, guys. It's crazy.
I think that regardless, I have to cheer for Neeb just because he's setting records for foreigners. And I mean, it started with the Kespa Cup, right? But even now over in like GSL, his current run, if he goes through to the semifinals, if he goes through the finals, it's just such a good story that I want to have happen so bad, regardless of whether I statistically believe it to happen or not. So I think no matter what, I'm going to be rooting for Neeb all the way.
Everyone's been sleeping on Neeb since Cyril, won 3 WCS in a row.
Yeah.
Everyone sleeps on Neeb, but he's still, I don't know. We've never seen Cyril versus Neeb at WCS, and I think that might go Neeb's way. I think he's like one of the only.
A quick question: if Neeb wins GSL Code S, is he better than Cyril?
Ooh.
What do we do?
I don't know.
I don't know. Starcraft's got like such a bad way of gauging who's the best anyway. Like, and nobody's consistently champion, right? Like,
I kind of feel like they need to face each other a little bit more often to be able to talk about that. Like
I said it's Montreal's a tiebreaker because they both have 3 WSC.
Yeah,
that is true. I feel like it kind of is, but kind of isn't, because winning GSL versus the world to me was a little bit more impressive than winning Kesper Cup, as cool as that was.
Yeah.
Specifically, because there was like one matchup that Need had to play, whereas Cyril had to play all 3.
He won a PVZ against Pet. It was close, but he won it.
That is true, Dan. Yes, he did beat Pet.
Hey, don't sleep on Pet, guys.
I'm sorry. Good old Startail Pet. Remember that guy.
Well, what happens if, because I've actually predicted a laser to win like every WCS this year so far. It hasn't worked out yet.
No.
But he's in form, right?
He's close.
What if he wins, right? And then it's 3-3-2 as far as WCS is for 2 years. That's crazy.
It's true.
I'm calling it right now. Okay, so we have the other round of 8 on. It's switched to Sunday this time, so that'll be pretty fun. You guys have any predictions? Who's going to get through that? Maru versus Gumiho and Zest versus Stats?
Actually, I actually kind of think Gumiho can beat Maru. Like that's actually one of the coolest matchups, I think.
Yeah.
Was it Zest Stats? Again, like Zest is an incredible PvP player. Like I feel like each series both has the same story where there's one player that's extremely favored on paper, but the other guy they're facing is a bit of a master at that matchup. So it's kind of hard to predict.
I've actually had the pleasure of watching Gumio play so many relentless TVTs in Alima leagues over the last while. I can't say that he's for sure going to beat Maru, but he's looking goddamn good at that matchup right now. Like for real, beating Cure and like facing others. Like, and even in the games he loses, it's not even convincing losses. Like Gumio is hard to kill in TVT.
Yeah, I think if Mario's going to lose, it's going to be the Gumiho, this GSL. That's who I think. It's like,
and Maru keeps saying in his interviews that he doesn't want to play TVT. It's a matchup that he feels less confident in. Like even last season, he was like, "I hope that Zest beats TY because I will lose to TY in the final." Like, it's, he said that in interviews. But yeah, so it's going to be a really, really exciting group. Like, if you miss it, then you're insane. It's going to be so good.
Didn't Maru just fly to that Asian tournament?
Yeah,
I don't know
the
if
thing
that's
he's about to
at
win,
all,
or did win.
I think the finals is on tomorrow or Saturday. And that's actually why we moved it to Sunday that day, is because he's expected to win, so he'll be there until the last second, then he'll fly back and play. But I think the time zone of Indonesia is like 1 hour off Seoul, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal.
Actually, I go to Indonesia like once a year, because I go to Bali just to unwind for a week, and it's very, very similar time zone. So it's very, very close, and it's also not a huge trip either. It's like it's pretty long, but it's like I think sub 10 hours, so it's like not too bad. Well, for me. That's
Australian. He's like, no, it's only
to me. I'm like sub 10 hours, easy, no problem. I'll do that in my sleep, literally.
God, it's like walking down to the store to get a pint of ice cream. Okay.
Yeah, it's like going to Subway for a sandwich, man. It's the easiest thing in my whole life. But yeah, no, it's I don't. It can exhaust you though, travel like that. So that's also a factor, definitely worth bringing up.
Also, can they move the round of 4 matches for NEEP? Because I think one of them's during Montreal, the other one's before it.
He's the second one, right? Yeah. So that would be the 8th.
Which is right in the
damn. Yeah. That is right during Montreal, isn't it?
Well, what did you do? We're North American players.
Well, maybe it'll get moved right to the 5th. I don't know. But he probably has to fly on the 5th, right? Or, well, I guess you land the same day, so you could fly on the 6th, but you'd be a little bit jet lagged to start on the 7th.
Yeah, and he needs the WCS points too, I think. It's kind of.
Well, he doesn't need them if he wins GSL and has a Korean spot at BlizzCon. What about that?
Let's get 9 foreigners to BlizzCon, boys.
That would be crazy. Yeah. Well, no, I want him to win that, and then True wins WCS Montreal, and bam, even again. That would be an amazing way to do it. Yeah, so I actually don't know how that's gonna work. I'm gonna ask Afrika later today. See about that, because that would, like, if he has to, that would suck to have to skip Montreal. I doubt they'd make him do that.
To switch it though, because it gives more time to the people that play the next round of 8 matches, because they only have 3 days in between. I'm sure they want more time to prep. But.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's actually a really good point. Yeah, because they're actually playing completely different matchups and everything too.
Yeah.
I'm just curious because I don't actually know. Is it like GSL on their own are in charge of that scheduling stuff, or does Blizzard have a hand in it?
Well, I think that they work together to try to make sure that everything runs as smoothly as possible. But overall, it's like Afrika's tournament, right? And the Afrika studio. So I guess probably they have final say, but I actually don't know for sure.
If Blizzard was more involved, this wouldn't have happened. I feel like this is a freaking thing.
Right, that's what I was going to bring up. Where like this seems like a real big problem if Blizzard is involved, but if it is a totally independent thing,
like,
and that
they've had their problems in the past, but they wouldn't do that. Not on Montreal.
GSL wouldn't either. I don't think that would be like something they wouldn't want to do, right? Like we love having non-Koreans playing and getting deep and stuff. It's exciting for the non-Korean viewers, the Korean viewers, everybody. So, I think Afrika keeps a pretty good relationship with the pro gamers that are out here regularly. So I think that it should be fixed, I would imagine. I'd be pretty sad.
Yeah, they're pretty good with the what do you call it? For like the Codesk players. They work with them too.
Yeah, I'm not worried. I'm sure they'll find something that's a good compromise for everyone.
Look, if you move Maru's play day for Asia Games, you're moving Neeb's play day for WCS Montreal, okay? Like, let's not pretend. Okay, people can talk about Olympics all day long, but WCS Montreal is 10 times more important than, this Asia Games match that they have going on. So, you know what? Now I've talked myself into it. I'm not worried anymore. Everything's going to work out fine, I think.
No, I will be. We'll be fine.
You just got to believe.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good little chat on GSL. Getting into some other topics now. The one thing I did want to talk about real quick with you guys, it was kind of brought to my attention. They talked about it in Challenger a little bit, but skins in tournaments.
Oh, boy.
Right? Because this is, right, we talk about all sorts of things like the financial aspects of esports and Starcraft and all these things, right? We have so many cool looking skins nowadays. People love to use skins when they're playing. And I thought, you know what? We have a pro gamer here, and we have a guy who runs tournaments. We have Blizzard #2 over here in Rifkin. So what are we thinking? Yeah, Blizzard Light. Blizzard Junior over here.
So I have a lot of opinions on this topic.
Okay.
I'll try not to go too much into it, but just to quickly put out there how it works on base trade so people are aware. We pretty much just have like with all tournaments, we have actual written rules, but the unspoken rule for everything is just don't be a dick. Like if someone asks you to turn off a skin, people typically do, and there's never really a fight about it. A good example of this recently was something that got blown out of proportion. A lot of people thought Namshar was blaming not having skins or having Nurcho having skins on his roaches for a loss, when in reality what happened was Namshar lost. He accepted that he lost regardless of the skin, but asked Nurcho very politely, would you mind disabling the skin? And Nurcho did. And we finished off the series without any roach skins. And it was not an issue. But so many people tried to turn this into a big issue, and it made me so mad because there have been some instances where, frankly, again, my opinion, not saying it was, like Scarlet's regame in WCS a while back, I kind of felt was like a little bullshit. And skins and this whole debate around them are so silly to me, where I feel like I've heard all these players say at the summits firsthand they'd rather play against skins than have rules saying that they can't be on, because they play against skins on the ladder all the time, so it's actually weird seeing not skins. Now, I'm not a pro player, and I can't attest to this, but what I'm saying is I've heard other pros say this, words from their mouth, talking to Blizzard when we're in these closed feedback sessions. And it shocks me to hear this almost unanimous opinion from players, commentators, and tournament organizers who are saying skins are fine, yet have this big pushback saying, no, 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 no.
All right. I can see both sides, but yeah.
Well, as a pro gamer, what is your opinion on this skin thing?
So I think like a lot of pros don't like it that much, but I think if they're doing like the war chest and all that stuff, and it's like increasing the prize pools, I'm fine adding them on. I think most players are fine, but it's just like the weird aspect of not knowing whether you can see skins or not. Because if everyone's like, okay, we're gonna allow skins, then I'm just gonna find the most abusive skins that kind of could have the.
What is an abusive skin though?
It's the one where the immortal looks like the stalker. I tried that, and then I was like, I don't know where my immortals are in my army, so I turned it off for myself.
Yeah, that was hard. If they switch it on, but I would just start using them more.
So on that note, the problem there is less about like should skins be allowed or not. It's more like, can you just put better skins in the game, right? Like, it's not like these are community submitted skins that are being abused by the players. Like, these are Blizzard made, Blizzard approved skins, and if the design is bad, I think recalling the skin and readjusting it seems to be a better call than just saying blanketly, no, every skin's not allowed anymore, even the cool ones that are not a problem.
Well, yeah, I don't think they're ever going to take skins out or be like, you can use skins, just not these specific skins. I think it has to be like an all or nothing thing. And I think you would get
fair enough. Like, I think that the current war chest skins are all pretty straight up. I mean, there's only part of them released so far, but like I've seen all the release skins and all the videos and stuff. There's nothing that can be confused with anything from what I can see, in the current one at least. So maybe current season should be allowed or something. I don't know.
Do any other games have issues with it? Like, I don't know, like Dota or League
Well,
or anything?
I mean, isn't that a big part of the business model of other esports is having like I heard long years ago that like if League of Legends released a skin and a pro gamer used it, they made like $1 million or something. I don't know if that was true,
I mean,
but
one of the things they do that I think is insane that I wish Starcraft did is like when somebody wins like an LCS, they have like skins for that team, like the SKT skin of Wukong or something like that, right? And I wish StarCraft had, like, even if it wasn't a full skin set, like, let's say MMA wins BlizzCon, you can have, like, an MMA Marine or something. Like, I would buy the shit out of that, and you know that would be hype as hell.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
But they don't do anything like that, and I feel like I'm not too abrasively angry because it did take so long just to get skins. They're still new in that respect, so it's hard to be like, oh my god, they should be better, because it's still a new thing in the grand scope of what StarCraft has had. But it really frustrates me that this is a topic for debate when I realize, like, I play everything. I play PUBG, I play Fortnite, I play League of Legends, I play StarCraft, and in no other game is this skin debate ever something I ever see come up, like, ever.
Yeah.
But wait, so what do you think should be the rule on it exactly? If you Cherry Blizzard over here, if you made the rule.
Vanilla Blizzard.
For skins, what would you do for WCS BlizzCon, GSL, all that?
Okay, if it's with what it is right now and I don't have the power and the magic to like change skins or do anything, if it's just with what it has, just disable the 2 problematic skins and say that's it. Those are the only ones we're saying no, and you can use whatever else you want otherwise, right? Like Immortals and Roaches, we can agree are the only ones we ever hear anything about. I've never heard someone say, wow, that Hydralisk skin fucked me over in this game. So like let them use the simulant Hydras. They look so cool. They're robotics. The robots, I can't say robot apparently. They die, they leave a different blood trail on the ground. Like there's so many cool aspects that for me, I'm somebody who watches StarCraft every day, whether it's on another person's stream or I'm observing it firsthand, and I actually take the time to appreciate and be like, that looks cool. I don't say it out loud, but as an observer, I'm like, that looks really cool, you know?
And I also see out loud in a lot of chats, like, you know, as a streamer and also watching a lot of streams, whenever people are like, yo, that Viking skin looks sick, how do I get it? They're seeing these skins also great because it means that, you know, Blizzard is showing off the great skins, which makes people want to buy them. If they don't see those skins, maybe they don't like. I know War Chest is on the launcher and it's in the screen when you load in, it's in the client, but seeing it in action is like a different beast. I think it's really important to see games with all the skins in action. So yeah,
from a business case, it makes sense, but maybe from like a new viewer thing, maybe it'll be kind of hard to go from seeing different skins at different units over and over again.
Well, yeah, yes and no, but then no one has trouble identifying who Irelia is in like League of Legends just because she's got like 7 different skins and each different LCS match has a different one. Nobody's confused about which hero that is.
Well, there's so many flashing lights going on over her with their abilities that who the fuck knows anything.
Yeah, like I saw some clips from the International where like a bunch of spells and things did heroes charging into each other. And I'm like, I have no idea what's happening right now. And the commentator was like slurring. So none of this makes sense. My brain hurts. So I have to close it now. But I think that when you touched on those other games having no skin issues, they're also different kinds of games. The RTS, you have a big army where it's all clumped up together, and you know the AI of the game makes all these units clump up together by default. Whereas in those games, you generally have an individual with an individual item that's skinned, where it's very easy to distinguish what it is or who you are, versus like a clump of things, in my opinion. So that's the difference there.
So you guys are generally saying allow skins, maybe not the ones that look terrible. And John,
I'm pro skins.
You want to abuse with it, but if we took out the abuse ones, everything would be fine.
I just wish it wasn't all or nothing. Is what it is for me. Like it seems so ridiculous that 2 problematic skins could ruin every other cool thing they put in the game.
Just players don't like change though. In general, every pro player would want like the same map, same skin, same everything every game. But
the pro players also like want their
they don't like change and they don't like maps that are weird and
because I play with like the green color just so every game it's green and not red or blue or whatever.
Yeah,
so I don't know.
Which by the way, I think Blizzard should sell too, is that you can choose your colors.
On that note, from a technical aspect, just have each individual professional player in their own client be able to disable the opponent's skins, set them all to default, and then you can play with whatever skins you want. The observer sees whatever skins both players have selected, but you can turn off your opponent's skins to default.
Yeah.
Just add that.
Yeah,
Players have suggested that though a lot.
that's been suggested, and what's really interesting about it is it's not actually very difficult to do. But 2 summers ago, I think it was, Joey, nice username, so you may know him as, we worked on a tournament together where we had Protoss. This is before skins existed, so this is before Blizzard had any skins in the game, and we did this like Civil War tournament where we were able to make it so the observers could see certain skins on the units. So like all of Hearthstone's units were like all the Tal'Darim, right, or like Drogo's were just normal, but the players
Oh,
only.
that's cool. I like that idea for a mirror matchup. Like have the different skins on the. That's a really good idea.
Yeah, well, it was specifically a Protoss versus Protoss tournament where half the players were Tal'Darim, half the team were Templar, and so every time you'd play a game, and again, this is before skins existed, so Joey did like an amazing job because it's not like he could just copy paste what Blizzard had done. This was something we had done totally experimental, and the thing was, it took Joey, a not full-time Blizzard employee, less than a week to throw this together and make it so again the players didn't actually see any skins in the game; it was just the observers. And even if that was a minimum option, I feel like it helps paint a better picture and helps like define the players a little cooler. Like you've got a meching player like Gumiho or somebody, give them all the Mirahan skins that make them look all like super meched out and stuff. Like stuff like that, I think could really help. Just like make the players more hype and identifies with them more. You know, then you feel like I'm like the Gumiho guy. I'm using the metal skins. It's really cool. Like,
but that was a map mod, right?
That was just like we had basically added on to the existing WCS extension mod.
Yeah. So that's an easy change.
Blizzard needs to hire that kid, put him in an office, come up with all that brilliant stuff, put in the game.
Joey,
they got the game art guy.
Yeah. Hopefully, he's not the last guy that gets hired from the community. As someone that's just amazing and can improve the game straight up.
I want to offer a quick counterpoint, by the way, to this skin discussion. Chess doesn't allow skins.
But battle chess, yes, it does.
Well, I'm talking about just straight up professional chess, right? It's not like you can bring your own pieces that are all decked out and cool.
Right off the bat, you got a white and a black skin, dude.
Yeah.
Well,
and also, I've seen pieces
like
different shapes and sizes and that sort of thing at physical tournaments.
Yeah, people carve the rooks into different shapes at different boards.
I've actually seen different bishops, different rooks.
But in professional play, there's like standardized pieces and they don't allow skins. So I'm just wondering if there's like maybe this is part of why Blizzard doesn't want the skins, is that you want to be able to just glance at it and it's always the same or something like that. Like Jon Snow was talking about, it's kind of a pro gamer mentality, everything the same color, the same map, everything the same. So you just have like, the thing that you practiced.
I'm going to be condescending because I don't know the numbers behind this, but how many people watch chess? Like maybe no skins is so boring and nobody watches chess because of it, but it might be the most hypest board game of all time if you had like Darth Vader rooks and stuff. Like, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if that's like a good comparison per se, but I think that in StarCraft, I could leave it or take it. I would not stop watching the game because, oh my God, we don't allow skins. But I think I definitely get more enjoyment watching a game, identifying with players who use certain skin combos too. Because there's some players like Hero Marine, they actually mix and match some of the skins. It's not just all of the most recent war chest skins.
Yeah.
You'll see a little bit of personality through that.
Yeah, and that was actually a fun thing. I casted Heroes of the Storm for a couple of years, and it was one of my favorite things in the early game was just critiquing the skins that people chose in the mounts and be like, oh, this is, you know what? These two go well together. If someone had terrible fashion sense, I'm like, this is hideous. Why is Uther in this skin riding a cloud? That is like, you're bad, But I don't know. I think
you're bad.
Yeah, you're bad.
You're bad. All right.
Okay. Well, some interesting things. Anything else to say about skins before we go over to the next thing?
Well, I just want to add on here, like it is still for me. I'm very passionate about being pro skin, and I think that, for lack of a better word, I'm going to call some people really babies about the skins. But even with those opinions of mine, I still recognize that this is like a new and more importantly, like changing thing, and skins have still not become standard, even though we've had a couple of years of them now, because in the grand scheme of things, they're still brand new. So I totally understand and can sympathize with Blizzard, because for them, I'm sure there's like a lot of internal fighting about this too. But I think the biggest thing is anytime I've seen a topic like this, like it's never the closed discussions that get things done. It's about like people making themselves very vocal about it. So while I'm not encouraging giant Reddit threads, I'm pretty sure that if we saw a bunch of people making Reddit threads every single day and it was the top voted, you would start seeing some more change. And just on that topic, like if you want to see more skins, you got to let tournament organizers know, like whether it's Base Trade TV or anyone else, your voices do matter. It just might not seem like it because it's like one person at a time. But if enough people start saying things, that's how changes get made. On the other hand, maybe you don't want to see skins. Maybe you're sick of me allowing players to use skins in base trade TV tournaments. Speak up about it. It's the only way we'll get feedback to know what's good and what's not. And Blizzard's not much different in that regard.
I can't imagine someone being tired of seeing skins. That's hard to imagine. It's to be honest though, the Hellion with all those spikes on it, I don't like that skin.
Well, then don't equip it.
If I was playing in a tournament, I'd ask my opponent to take that off. I'm like, no, the Hellion doesn't do that much damage. You don't get spikes.
I just think they're cool. You know, Blizzard spent time and energy putting them into the game, and I think it's great to showcase them off for the fans. And I think that they should be as visible as possible in as many tournaments as possible. That's what I feel about skins. But okay. I do agree that the integrity of the tournament matters the most. So if people could find a nice balance, then that would be great for everyone.
All right. I think we all would generally like to have some skins spice things up a little bit. Sell some more skins would be good times. Okay. Thank you guys for your input on the skins topic. Maybe that's something that we can talk to Blizzard about in the future and see if that gets going. Real quick, we got an update from Mark Olberts at Blizzard that they are already on top of the Need Montreal and Codes.
Of course they are.
Debacle, and that will be taken care of, no doubt. So no problems. Neeb, can he get 2 spots? Qualified, we will see. Yeah, I guess.
I believe.
So I think you get way more points from the Korea win. Aren't the points different?
I don't think the points matter though in comparison to each other, right? Only within your region.
Yeah, I'm saying if he qualifies in both spot, how do you know which one you pick?
I think they should let him pick which one he wants. Yeah. So I think that would be really fun. But what if he chose the foreigner one? That would make someone very sad. Well, I guess either one would make someone very sad. But
I don't think he should be able to choose, because then that's like
there has to be some sort of rule, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so our next topic, something that you brought to my attention here, Rifkin, a little bit of drama going on in a caster feedback thread on Team Liquid. Could you set this up for us? Maynard, I see that you have a lot to say about this topic as well.
No, I'm just not really, but yeah.
Let me just give the background, right? So Team Liquid forum has a lot of great discussions, a lot of great threads. I don't feel this is one of them. They made a thread a little while ago called the caster feedback thread, when really it's kind of like the here's the thread where you have an excuse to shit on people without criticism thread. And I, to this date, don't know a single person who's looked at that thread and been, yeah, that's a good point. I'm going to change what I'm doing because of that. No, everyone just talks about how stupid the opinions there are. So I, to this date, have never really paid much attention to it. I've never really cared. I've been mentioned many times, I'm sure. So has everybody else. But the most recent turn of events, for whatever reason that I don't understand, I became a hot topic this week. And I chose to ignore it for the most part until it started getting really like 2 pages deep and people were messaging me about it like every day. And Wardy, actually, before me even, took the time to write out a rather lengthy response to some of the recent accusations and criticisms, and I'm going to use air quotes here for feedback, that's been going on in the thread. And I think what really sucks that a lot of people don't understand is some of these, like I've read all these posts at this point, and a lot of these comments, whether they are valid or not, they're what we see every single day. It's what we see tons of. And like just watching a site I respect, like Team Liquid, kind of create like a soapbox for it really disappoints me, to be honest, because the thread claims it's moderated, but it's not very well.
Team Liquid is moderated? Who said?
Yeah, Mr. Report Button over here knows what I'm talking about.
Hey, man. Those Team Liquid guys, they love us casters. What are you talking about?
The very difficult thing about this, though, before we talk into like the thing with Wardy and what's happened recently today and / yesterday, is that there's no way to respond to this without looking like you're being defensive. Like if somebody, for example, posts something that's completely wrong and I were to very calmly articulate why they're wrong and even provide like video proof, it still wouldn't matter because I'm going to look defensive and then everyone's going to criticize that. So there's no way for any of the people that this thread is meant to target and discuss to actually get involved with the discussion, because it's not set up that way. The game's meant for us to fail right from the get-go type thing. So anyways, I just don't agree with the thread. But even with that in mind, Wardy actually took the time to write out this big thing about online casting versus offline casting. And frankly, it's really long. If you guys want to read it, I would suggest reading it because I think he's really done a good job writing it well thought out, etc. But the too long didn't read version of it, and it does defend me a little bit. So obviously I'm a bit biased to saying thank you, Woody, for posting this. But it kind of outlines some of the stuff that you guys don't see, some of the behind the scenes struggles, the difference of it being online versus offline. I mean, people like Artosis, he's going to sound fantastic in every GSL cast, not just because he's already amazing what he does, but the live environment will feed him extra energy that you just don't get sitting alone in your bedroom, right? And it just kind of goes over some of these points that a lot of people may not consider when they're making some of their remarks. And that should have been just like that, right? But then people started responding to it. I've dealt with like all these people from Twitter I've never heard of with stupid names, like trying to reinforce that we're wrong. And I never even commented. There's no post from Rifkin on this thread. There's no tweet about me linking this thread out there, yet somehow I'm still being dragged into it, which is just like, ugh. But some of the stuff in here is so dumb. Like, I think one of the guys, like, straight up, he's just like, Maynard's sexist or something really just wrong and dumb.
Really?
And
what? Someone said that?
Or wasn't sexist,
Actually-
or like
actually-
when you cast, you sound sexist, or something like that. I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember exactly what he wrote.
Really? I was about to say, you know what? Can you pull that up for me so I can see the comment? And then I realized I don't give a shit. Go on.
Well, anyways, the point is, like, there's a right way and a wrong way to do things, and I feel like this thread is the wrong way to do things, or at least it encourages the wrong way to do things, if that's a better way to phrase it. Because to say something to myself like Rifkin's a shitty caster does nobody any good, and it just spreads toxicity, which we frankly don't need more of. But to say something like I think Rifkin's a shitty caster, and here's why, and then outline in like a proper way, then that's something where if you're right with what you're saying, I can read that and take actual feedback from it. But that doesn't happen in this thread, like, at all.
Okay, so I saw that this thread exists. I never clicked on it because when I see something like this, I don't know if any of you guys have read World War Z, not the movie, but the book. And if you haven't and you're about to, which you're probably not, no one's going to do that, but mute the podcast right now real quick. It's like the way that they solve the problem, right, is that they leave islands of humans for zombies to attack to get the zombies in certain areas to save everyone else. It feels like that, right? This is like this deterrent where everyone can go and shit on casters, and at least it's in one place and you don't have to deal with constant threads popping up. That's what it seems like to me, is from your description. I've never gone through this thread, but I wanted to throw that out
that's
there.
a pretty good, close to accurate way, I would say, describes things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen this thread very much. I remember when it first got posted, and then I forgot about it. I remember it got posted, and I was in a Discord group with people, and we were just like, "Here we go," and then I just sort of forgot about it. I think it got buried, or I honestly don't go to Team Liquid for threads very much at all. I go to look at the events page and the news in the middle. I look at the top right of the page, and I look at the upcoming events in the bottom right, and I look in the middle at the news posts. That's all I look at. I don't look at the left at all. And then when Wardy dropped that response, I was like, oh, Wardy's my friend. I respect him a lot. Codecaster, we've done a lot of stuff together. I'm going to have a look at this post and read what he had to say. And I read it. I'm like, oh, this seems really sensible. Wonder what he's responding to. And then I scroll up. And I read some of these posts in this thread. And I'm like, oh, my God, this thread is actually a hot dumpster fire. Like, there is no content in here. It is just free-form, free bashing of commentators. It's all it is. There's nothing to learn from it as a commentator. Like, I feel like you can get a lot of really good feedback as a commentator from the community as well. But obviously, like, a lot of the feedback that I get that I really take on board is when it's by another professional commentator or a friend, because they will give you generally an unfiltered, what do you call it? Like an objective. That's the word I was looking for. Criticism. Like an objective criticism. Like, I could go to you, Dan, even though we're friends, and I could say, oh, I don't think that cast was very good. And you'll say, like, just this and this needs to be worked on or whatever. Like, that's happened before. And that's really, really good. But then you go to a thread like that where it's just people that, a lot of them don't have English as their first language. So a lot of the posts are written really badly, which is okay. And they can't help that. But it's very, very, very hard to see any content in there. Like, I'm a believer in digging through shit and finding treasure, but there is no treasure in there. That's nothing to be found. It is just like, what's that interpretive dance, but in form and complete dog shit.
So the thing that concerns me about this thread, though, is like a couple of things more than just the content of the thread. One is, well, maybe it's the zombies being stuck on an island to save the rest of the human race. It still allows these guys to think like, oh, it's okay to be very vocal about being shitty. And then you've got a bunch of the vocal minority kind of like patting each other on the back. And man, this makes me think of the Make America Great Again situation. Like, it's just not something that's like okay to say that, you know, it's fine to be this or talk about that. But then there's other things where just like it promotes these people who are delusional. Like this guy, one of the things Wardy was responding to was this guy who claims the StarCraft 2 scene would be infinitely better off with a web-based trade TV, and that Day 9 should come in and replace Rifkin. And like it's actual absurdity. The first line of one of these posts is Day 9 would be better than Rifkin. Just saying, like.
Oh,
He acknowledges that Day 9 doesn't have StarCraft.
What kind of statement is this?
But anyways, it's not about, because like the thing is, DNA probably would be a better commentator to me. That's not what I'm arguing. It's the delusion. They think he would come in and do grindy casts like I do. Nobody is sitting down for as little money as I make to sit down for the amount of time that I put into StarCraft 2, right? And I'm not a saint and I'm trying to martyr this, but I'm just saying people are insane to think that others would. And this sort of like, oh, well, no one's opposing me, so I must be correct, like attitude is something that starts bleeding over into other facets where we see these people creep into our Twitch chats or into Reddit threads and other things. And I just really don't like that it promotes more of this vocal minority problem that StarCraft has. StarCraft 2 actually has an amazing support line when it comes to really good people who support content creators, whether it's just enjoying the tournament, whether it's actually putting money towards something, whether it's donating to Maynarde because they enjoy the stream. There's a lot of people out there who don't actively chat in Twitch. They don't actively make Reddit posts, but they're there for you every single day. Hell, most of them don't even have login accounts on Team Liquid or Twitch or things like that. But I've met these people at events. I have met more people at events where I'm like, hey, what's your name on Twitch? I'd love to shout you out later. And they're like, oh, I don't have a Twitch account, right? But they watch us every single day. And unfortunately, this is taking power away from those people and giving it to the others, the vocal minority. And I just don't love that threads like this kind of, I don't know, like put that kind of attitude forward as being okay. And there's another problem too, where it's like, how do we get the quiet people to be more involved? And apparently it's play marbles, as I've learned recently. I actually looked at my stats from the stream today. 5 times the highest chat activity we've ever had before, because people were spamming play for fucking marbles. But anyways, that's besides the point. My point on this one is like, whether it's Reddit, Team Liquid, wherever, I just don't love seeing this kind of attitude, these kind of people be given a platform where it seems okay to be like this. Maybe it just requires more moderation on Team Liquid's part and this thread becomes amazing. I don't know. I don't have a solution. I just know what the problem is.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to solve it, right? Because it's kind of an interesting thing, because feedback is an important thing. People should be giving feedback and stuff. I think that there's probably better ways than this thread on Team Liquid, but certainly I can agree that I've seen almost no moderation on Team Liquid. It's really poorly done. It seems like whoever actually runs Team Liquid for StarCraft now isn't really giving a shit about quality of anything on the site. Like, I mean, we already went over that terrible article that called me out, and then someone went through and actually fact checked it, and it was all wrong. And
good old brown bear.
Yeah, put up with it. Yeah, in the Brood War forum, I'm always having to put up with just dummies all over the place. That it's just like a cesspool. It's terrible.
I think they just don't want to blame people for being stupid anymore.
Yeah, it's kind of. I mean, I don't know how this gets fixed other than, I mean, is good moderation the right way? Is maybe the casters, like, if this is something that's bothering you, Rifkin and Wardy and stuff, maybe if you make your own thread, right? And you're like, hey, if you have feedback for us, put it here. Maybe, I don't know.
I think part of it really, though, is having people talk about it more. Make it realize that that sort of attitude is not okay. The way people conduct themselves in those manners is not something that anyone enjoys other than the person making the post. Like, again, they've got no pushback. Nobody's saying anything, and we can't, because, again, if you post in it, we look defensive. We lose immediately before we begin. Yeah. But I think taking the time to talk about it and discuss it and put the idea out there, doesn't matter whether only one person in this entire podcast listening, like, goes, huh, maybe they're right. Like, that still starts something rather than nothing. So that's why I wanted to bring it up on the show. I just feel like it's a topic that is greater than this thread. This thread is just kind of a recent pinpoint of an example.
I think caster feedback's fantastic. I think it's wonderful. I think it helps us all improve. I think that in the right environment with the right kind of feedback, it can be very, very helpful. My argument is that thread in particular is dog shit.
Yeah.
Probably true.
What were you about to say, Jon Snow? And me and Rifkin ran over you like 4 times.
I was gonna say, I guess, like, I don't know. I don't know how to fix this thread because it doesn't seem like bad enough where you can just close it and say like you're not allowed to talk. But it seems like they do moderate. Like
They have a sticky thing that's like this thread will be heavily moderated and criticism will go directly to the casters. None of that happens. None of that fucking happens.
No one told me I was sexist. Whatever. Like, I never heard that. I don't hear if anyone's posted about me on that thread. It's never gotten to me. Never seen it.
Yeah, and there's a problem of the mob mentality that's just like, I guess, exists on the internet, and it kind of goes back to what you said, Rifkin, where it's like if you engage this, you just look defensive, and as soon as someone accuses you of something, whether it's true or not, people tend to just believe it. It's just that is something that happens. Like if you look through that thread that says that I use too much hyperbole or something, it's just everyone agreeing, right? And then Brown Bear goes through and finds, oh no, it's just not true. It just doesn't happen. You guys made that up. Okay.
With actual
but everyone agrees that that's what happens. And then it's like there's this weird thing that now is a part of, it's like, Jeff's like, you never finish anything, Artosis, and here I am doing the Pylon show without him. Damn. Oh my god.
I was waiting for that.
I had to do it. But, yeah, I mean that in general I think is a problem of the internet, and I don't think that there is a way to deal with it. It's just like the people who will actually take the time to educate themselves as to what is going on will realize that this shit isn't true. But yeah.
Anyway, Jon Snow, your thoughts?
I think I wasn't looking at this thread, and I think anyone that you should care about isn't looking at this thread. Like I don't think it's that popular. It's like I think you could ignore it, but
good.
I could see how you don't want misinformation to spread, but.
No, I like if the thing continues and it's unmoderated. Again, like I said, none of it gets back to me. It's just that I have an opinion on the thread, and then it's dumb. That's all.
Yeah, these
if the thread continues to exist, it won't bother me at all. There's a lot of people out there that have that little pit of hate inside of them that they need a place to talk to people that also have pits of hate, and they can all just be together. It's fine.
It bums me out though. Going back to what Artosis brought up too with the other article, because I read that whole or watched/read that whole Brown Bear thing as well, and I used to have like a Team Liquid the team, much respect. I know it's different than the website, right? But for me, the website was the place you go to. If you're a StarCraft fan, you don't go to StarCraft Reddit, you don't go to the Blizzard Battle.net forums like the developers game, you go to Team Liquid. That was where all the people would be, and that's how it was growing up. And I guess maybe times change, but it saddens me that that's not what I can do anymore. I don't tell people to go to Team Liquid. I'll be like, if you want to check out other streams, maybe check the sidebar, but that's it, because these threads continue to be problematic. But again, it's not about my opinion of Team Liquid or the changing times. It's just like I do want to start fighting back. I want to be vocal without looking like I'm just being some petty defensive little baby, because this really is an intelligent discussion that needs to happen. And even these people who are being shitty, they might not realize it, but their opinions matter. They just need to make them differently.
I think okay, so Team Liquid way back in the day, right? Because I was there the day that Team Liquid opened, and it participated in a lot for many, many years, and it was a great place. And I think that a big part of that was intelligent moderation. Like basically the pros, like if you were really good at StarCraft 1, you knew what you were talking about, you were given you were given more power basically than the other people, right? So if there was some guy in there being an asshat, and then Idra's like, hey, you are being an idiot, you don't know even what you're talking about, the mods would back him up, right? So it was a safe place for like pros, basically, which the thing is we didn't really have content back there, so nowadays that would have to be expanded. But when it's a guy that has 38 posts and his country says that he's from North Korea or something, and he's talking shit on the forums as if he is a grandmaster WCS champion, and then the moderation does nothing for that, right? It's not worth like Jon Snow's time, I would say, to go in here and talk to anyone and say anything, because there's no backup. There's not other pros that are active anymore at this point. It's just some, I don't even know what it is. It's just, it doesn't have a core of like individuals that like, okay, we trust these people. These people actually know things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think they used to have good moderation. 'Cause, like before I was Jon Snow, I remember I like shit post on Team Liquid once and I got banned real quick.
That's how you became Jon Snow. You had to change your name.
I think so.
Had to go to the north. Got to go to the north and hide.
I have a different gamer tag, but I got banned.
Actually, a real quick side question. You read the Game of Thrones books? Is that how you got your ID?
Yeah.
Okay, and I remember that there was a guy that hit the top of the ladder and his ID was Jon Snow dies, and it was at the beginning of a new season of Game of Thrones. Was that you, or was that someone else?
That wasn't me. That wasn't me.
Okay. Because I saw that at the top of the ladder. I'm like, that's the best way to spoil what's going to happen. And then he didn't die. And I was like, well, kind of. I mean, whatever. But
you didn't know at that point, I guess.
Yeah. But I assumed it was going to happen the entire time when I saw that ID at the top of the ladder. Okay. I just wanted to check if that was you.
I think that was some European. I'm not sure.
One last thing I want to piggyback on before we get too into more stuff that I won't be able to contribute to is I feel so sad because even in Twitch chat now, I've read a couple of comments saying people saying they've left Reddit, they've left Team Liquid for Starcraft. And I hate that that's the case, right? Like, I know Fear Dragon's done the same thing. I've more or less done the same thing, but I have to go back because I know that's where other people are, so post there. But, like, it shouldn't be okay that your content creators and community leaders are running away from the community. And, again, it's not limited to one site. Like, I don't want to make this look like we're taking a big dump on Team Liquid, right? But just, again, they happen to be the topic at hand with the example. But whether it's Team Liquid or whether it's Reddit or whether it's anywhere, I just feel like I don't understand how it's okay to chase off your content creators. Like, I know very few people who read Reddit anymore. I know very few people, because like I want to gossip about the stupid new video that got posted on Starcraft Reddit or something. But like, so few people are involved with these anymore, and they're the big community hubs. So what do we do to fix that? Is the question.
Yeah,
and again, I don't have the answer.
Yeah, I don't know what the word is to fix it, but to touch on that, like I personally with my stream, when people ask me directly, like, how do I, I want to get into this, or how do I, find builds and that sort of thing, I can tell them, I tell them not, like with builds specifically, I tell them not Reddit. I go to Spawning Tool, like that's a pretty good site for that kind of thing. And then, but when people are like, oh, I want a place to just talk about like my race and its matchups and that sort of thing, I usually don't say Reddit. I usually say go to like there's some Discord places you can go to that are really, really, really wonderful resources. And if people want to go to Reddit, I tell them to go to Reddit to look at specific titles, specific threads, because there's a different kind of thread. Like if you go to how can I do this in TVZ, or how do I do late game Terran or something like that? That seems like a thread that would have a lot of sensible posts in it, right? The people that are like re Terran Imber or Zerg Imber will be downvoted to shit right at the bottom of the thread. But if you go to a thread that's like DAE match fixing and you post in there, then you're gonna have a bad time. All right, that's like not where you want to send people. All right, that's never going to end up well. But there is a lot of really good content on Reddit. I just try and tell people how to find the good stuff and avoid the bad stuff. But I'm with you in that. I wish it wasn't the case.
That's what kills me. Yeah.
No, I'm with you. Yeah, it shouldn't have to, but there is. There's still good stuff there.
Well, it seems like it's two different things. It's like the kind of the pro casters and players, and there's like the other people who want to just like look at the content. It seems like other people are afraid because there's so much weird, criticism and stuff. I think that's how it is everywhere. Like, NBA players and stuff probably shouldn't look at the NBA Reddit.
Yeah, but the NBA organizers for these tournaments should, right? Like, the thing is, they need to know what isn't resonating with the audience. So for me, I would love to just abandon ship and never have to worry about any of this, but I can't if I want to keep Base Trade TV growing.
Yeah, but you're also like a caster. If you were just organizing Base Trade TV, you wouldn't get any shit, but you're like out in the front, I don't know.
Well, I think that there's like part of what I guess is missing. If you look at the way to be a part of the StarCraft community actively right now, it's all real time. It's like Twitch chat, it's Reddit, it's Twitter, right? And these are all things that like, I don't go on the internet a super lot because I'm busy, right? So like for instance, I'll watch more VODs or replays than live streams, and I'll check my Twitter twice a day while pooping or something, right? And if I'm not on there at the moment, like if I wanted to, if I want to participate in something. Every now and then I'll post in a Reddit thread, but then it goes off the front page and the conversation is dead, and I check it again later. I have to dig into the Sangit page or something. No one's looking at it anymore, and I'm like, oh, that's too bad. Whereas people like me that are going to be like a little bit less active checking it all day, you know, something like Team Liquid would be useful for things like what we're talking about, I guess. But I don't know. Everything is, it like goes back to this weird thing. Like, I don't get these new generations using Snapchat. I'm like, wait, the post just goes away.
I never
Why
use
would I work
Snapchat
hard on
once.
that?
No, I'm with you, Dan. I've never gotten
I think-
Snapchat. I actually never got
don't get
Facebook
these
either. Never. I'm like,
I was imagining Artosis trying to figure out Snapchat was on the toilet pooping because he's bored of the thread. He's just like snap pictures.
he's got his dog filter on.
He's got the bunny ears on. Like,
Yeah, he's got his bunny ears while he's pooping. He's rolled his shirt up a little bit because it's hot and he's getting sweaty. It's a really bad poop.
there was this one of my favorite pranks on the internet was a guy who convinced his grandpa that Twitter was Google, and it's just like this feed of like him searching.
Yeah, I saw that.
So sick.
I feel like that would be Artosis with Snapchat more.
You guys don't follow Roddy's Snapchat? It's a blast. It's got a good story every
No.
day.
You need Snapchat to follow Snapchat people. Unfortunately, John, they don't have it.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I tried Snapchat for like one
But
day
honestly,
once, and then I realized
like,
what it was, and I was like, less permanent than Twitter. I'm like, I can't put any more effort into this. This is stupid.
I'm obviously like, I spend a fair bit of time with Roddy at these events, and I sit next to him while he's doing his Snapchat posts, and it's just so funny, like watching his like his guy next to him. Like, obviously on Snapchat it's different, but when you're sitting next to a guy and he's like going,
Yeah, I've seen Roddy do that so many times. Or like the
So
selfie
funny.
to go live on Twitter and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, oh, so funny, I love it.
Just anytime he has his phone out, I assume I'm going on his Snapchat.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, any final words on this little drama in that caster feedback thread, guys?
I think that whether you like me or hate me, I hope you at least listen to my words, because I did put a lot of thought into this prior to coming on the cast today, or the podcast today. And I feel like my overall message here is less about like this thread. And I don't want people to get focused on the fact that we've talked so much about this thread, but it really is trying to spread this, like, not even like this hippy dippy, like, you know, positivity, but it's like, we could be better. Let's be better. Like, how can we be better? And let's start that conversation, you know?
And I actually want to bounce off that and say, like, you know, if you want the casters to be better, then make your feedback better, man. There is a good way to give feedback without saying stuff like you're fat and ugly. Like, those things are kind of hard to fix. But things like, you know, you missed this. Maybe you should work on your game knowledge or something like that, or, you know, bring up specific examples, specifically clips are good as well. Like, if people give me feedback with clips of something that I messed up or something like that, like maybe I say too often or something like that. That's good feedback. That's fine. That's great. That's stuff that can be worked on. Like, make the feedback well and well structured, easy to read, easy to digest, and tweet it at me or email or something. Like, I'm more than happy to get feedback.
All right.
Unless it's Templar, because fuck Protoss.
What?
Fuck
Feedback?
I got it.
All right. Well, okay. I think we'll move on to the next topic. Keep this going. Our next one, real quick, will be KSL. I know Maynard watched a bit of KSL recently. We are in the round of 4. It starts tonight and continues tomorrow night. Jaedong. Hey, here's a StarCraft 2 name for you guys, you other guys in here. Rain is in the round of 4. Winner of last ASL, now he's in the round of 4 here and probably favored to win.
And Sulky.
Three of those 4 players in the semifinals were ex-StarCraft 2 pros. Well, I mean, Jaedong was Brewbor initially and then obviously went to 2 for a bit, and he was very, very good at 2. But Rain was like number 1.
Last got 3rd place in OSL and StarCraft 2.
Oh, that was a long time ago. God damn, I forgot about that. So there you go. They've all dipped their toes in the StarCraft 2 land. But Sulky and Rain are a name that a lot of people will recognize there. And Sulky managed to work his way up to probably the best Zerg in Brood War right now, and Rain is the best Protoss in Brood War right now. So this is really, really sick. I think that looking at Rain Jaedong in semifinals, Dan, there's a lot of hype around Jaedong. Him beating Snow was pretty hype. I mean, some of those games were very like, I'm going to attack you with Lings and win, which definitely happened. Like, he got his Lings into probe lines a little bit more often than I thought he would. But those are Jaedong Lings, like you and Nick kept saying. You know, you get 3 or 4 Jaedong Lings in your main, you might as well leave the game.
Yeah.
but Rain is a different beast. This guy's the ASL champion. This guy, I have faith in the Dong, but I don't have that much faith in the Dong. I think that the Rain's going to take that. That Rain's going to take that one in particular.
With what kind of map score are you looking at, Maynard?
So maybe like a 4-1.
Yeah, I think it's. I think your analysis isn't bad there. I might post some feedback about it in that thread a little bit later, because Jaedong is a special case, guys.
Yeah,
and I mean, obviously, Rain is like a better player than Jaedong in a lot of ways, but when the pressure's on, man, Jaedong, he's so crazy. Like, it goes down 0-2 in the final qualifier match for KSL, comes back, goes down 0-2 against Snow. No problem. That's when I knew he was going to win, actually. And, you know, when he goes down 0-3 against Rain, don't lose your faith. It's although Rain is a different beast. That kid is so good.
I think that'll be so amazing for the game if that happens. If Jaedong's down 0-3 and then comes back and wins 4-3, I think it'll be the most hyped thing in Brood War in such a long time, for sure.
It would be. By the way, this is something that I thought was really funny, right? Because within the StarCraft 1/StarCraft 2 communities, which are similar but not exactly the same, a lot of people talk about StarCraft 1 elitists. But I'm looking at this tournament, and I'm looking at a Rain Sulky finals. That is two StarCraft 2 pros that have gone to StarCraft 1 and are basically the best.
I mean, most people would be predicting that, and I am as well, man. I think it's going to be. I think Sulky's not going to have too many problems with Last. I think that he's going to sort him out as well, and it's going to be a Rain Sulky final. 2 StarCraft 2 pros at the top of Brood War.
Yeah, I think so. I think they're the best of their races too.
Where's
I don't think that there's too much. He couldn't play the qualifiers in this one because he was in China for an event. He's still the best, though. Okay,
is he?
Look, these 2 StarCraft 2 guys are good, but Flash is the best.
Yeah. All right.
That's right. It would be one of those StarCraft 2 guys and Flash if Flash was in this tournament instead of them facing each other.
So
matches are best of 7s.
Yes.
These are best of 7s, which we never even have in Brood War. It's crazy.
Okay, I never watch any Brood War. I don't know
day.
anything about it, but I'm just gonna be that guy who says Jaedong 4-0, so that if I'm right, it looks really cool.
Damn. That's a bold prediction there, Rifkin.
All right.
Like when you say Neeb always wins, you know?
Mm-hmm. All right, so that is KSL. That is tonight. That is in just under 8 hours from now.
7 and a bit hours.
And then add 24 to that, and that is Sulky last. And then we will have our finals all set up, which is going to be awesome.
So a lot of you guys in chat might be like, "Oh, I don't watch Brood War. Why are they only having one? Why can't they have both best of 7s on the same day?" I'm like, well, Nick and Dan don't want to cast for 12 hours. Best of 7s in Brood War go for a very, very long time. So it's more than fair to have just one best of 7 for a broadcast.
What's like the average length of a Brood War game? The matchups change. I don't know.
I'd say
the matchups all are very, very, like a ZVZ or a PvP are very, very fast. And then you get a TVP or a TVT and it's like, all day
TVT
long.
Can actually, it's not uncommon to be 40 plus minutes for a TVT.
Yeah, you can get it. You can get a 40-minute TVT. And on certain maps, oh my God, an hour. It's just, it's like, all the minerals are going to be gone. Okay, this is going to be fun. I don't know what the average length is, though. I would like to know that because that's always kind of an interesting thing, and it changes over time. But
I'd guess maybe 15 to 25 minutes. I'd say in that sort of time bracket.
So it's more
I think
/
15
Liberty speed. You know.
Yeah. It takes a while to actually ramp up.
I mean, Jaedong games might be a little bit quicker because, like I said, he'll get Lings inside your base early and really wreck things. Like his series against Snow look like that a lot. A lot of his games are really, really short. Yeah. With Brood War standards. Anyway.
But yeah, that's gonna be great, guys. Watch that tonight, and there's a lot more Brood War. In fact, after the Sunday cast of the round of 8 of GSL, ASL starts that evening. So I'm gonna be at that studio all day long. And yeah, that's amazing that ASL is coming back again because right now, the Brood War over here is so big. Everyone's playing so much, and not only are Sulky and Rain in ASL, but Flashes as well. And we started playing the videos last night, and it's this cool thing. It's setting it up where it's like Rain versus Flash. Everyone's feeling it. It's like, this is the match that we want to see. We'll see if that occurs. They're both seeded into the next round, but the group that we will be doing on Sunday evening, that's 7 p.m. KST. So that's 48 hours after the second KSL semi, is going to be C, Harangi, Jadong, and Killer. Oh my God, Jadong's busy, huh?
Damn. I thought he was falling apart, Dan.
Yeah,
How's he playing all these tournaments?
That's what I hear, man.
I thought his wrists were made of brittle piece of paper.
Yeah. No, turns out he's doing all right, keeping above 300 APM and killing people with Zergling still.
Huh.
So, yeah, that's ASL starting up. I guess there's nothing else to go over as far as ASL goes. But a fun 4 days of Brood War and StarCraft 2 coming up here. Okay, I think we did it, and it's time for the Discord questions. Are you guys ready?
So funny to listen to, by the way, like because I tune in every week, right? And I always love catching this part of the show.
All right, let's see. Here we go, guys. I'm going to start reading them. Whoever wants to answer, you go right ahead. Okay, from AGM Cleod. AGM Cleod. What a weird ID that is. But anyways, guys, if you're a Patreon supporter, you can check out the patreon.com/The Pylon Show. We have a priority Patreon questions area in our Discord channel, which you can join the Discord. I'm not sure how you join the Discord. I'm sure it's in Jeff's channel somewhere.
I think that's like AG McLeod, or maybe I don't know. No, actually, maybe right.
His clan is AGM, and Cleod is
maybe
ID, perhaps.
All right,
but I mean, maybe you're right. I've been told that occasionally I get names wrong, but I don't really believe it. We need an Artosis pronunciation thread.
I think this was a Terran player back in the day. It's like McLeod or whatever. I don't know.
Oh, really?
The name rings a bell.
Where do you see his ID?
It's in the Patreon questions of the Pylon Show Discord.
Yeah. So he says, "Hey, fellow nerds, love the show. I'm wondering what your thoughts are." Yeah, we give him a 10 out of 10 on that first line. That's great. I'm wondering what your thoughts are on how someone in the mid leagues like Platinum should go about getting back into the game. The game can be stressful to play, and I do get that ladder anxiety when pushing the find match button. Should I pick up some builds for each matchup, practice a bunch, and then dive into ladder? Should I just ladder grind to get my macro back into shape? Like many more casual players out there, SC2 is not my only game. I know. Sorry. It's okay. You can play multiple games.
That's right.
In fact,
I play other games as well.
Different games too.
Yeah,
I'm on marbles right now, dude. So
I play Dark Souls. I lost about 100 hours to Monster Hunter as well when that came up. So
what is an effective and fun way to go about improving? Go ahead.
I've got this. So a lot of my viewer base when I stream is this sort of level where they're looking to, try and break in a ladder or fight through ladder anxiety. For starters, the goal of ladder, like to get through ladder anxiety, you have to play enough. So when you play a certain number of games of StarCraft, I'm not sure where the number is. The number's different for a lot of people. But when you play enough, you stop caring about ladder anxiety. Like that, it will maybe come up again when you get to like close to being promoted. But as far as clicking the play button, you'll be able to grind. Like Jon Snow, do you get ladder anxiety?
Only if my MR gets like really, really high. I'm like, I don't want to.
Yeah, exactly. When you're really, really high, really high.
Switch another account,
Yeah, and there's certain times of the day where you don't want to play because you don't want to lose like 40 MMR instead of like and win to potentially from people that are like a lot lower than you are. But so to answer the question, I personally believe in having like a set list of goals for yourself to focus on things that aren't the win or the loss is a really good way to do it. And also, don't be afraid to, like a lot of people forget that unranked ladder exists for some reason. Like it's a really, really good place to grind out builds against people. The MMR is different. The matchups might be different, but you put zero things at risk except for your time. And you have to put time into StarCraft to get better. So I think the idea of grinding out a bunch of builds against AI is great. Pick a build that you like. There's a bunch of free builds out there, spawningtool.com. Head straight there. A lot of up-to-date meta builds. Pigs are posted there a lot as well. He's also a guy that loves to take questions from people. If you have a Twitter or Discord or something like that, add him on it, message him on his Twitch. He's very, very responsive. He's very, very good at steering you in the right direction with a lot of the up-to-date meta builds. Grind them out against AI and then go to unranked, I would say, is the next steps because, when you're feeling good against AI, then go to unranked, you're going to have to deal with things like harassment, drop play, which is stuff that people do against you that the AI doesn't. And then hit that ranked button. Hopefully by that point you don't care, or you feel good enough at the build where it's you can just get it going on. And if you are having trouble with ranked, then I would suggest focusing on individual goals, which is what I do on my stream, which is like track how many games you didn't get supply blocked, or how many games you kept your minerals under 1,000, or how many games you remembered to put out spotter marines or spotter zerglings, or remembered to scout. Track those instead. So if you lose, but you still did that thing, it's still a win. So that's a really good way to grind practice, and eventually you stop caring. Like I couldn't tell you what my MMR is right now. I haven't seen my MMR screen in ages. Not until people on my Twitch chat are like, what MMR are you? I have no idea. I hit the escape screen as soon as I end because I don't care. I just want to grind games.
StarCraft also has a really interesting specific thing that's not quite like any other game I've played. Because the thing is, like, I'm decent at most games. I'm not amazing at any one, right? But the one thing I've noticed with StarCraft is you can either get good at StarCraft or you can get highly ranked at StarCraft. Like, there's people who just take cannon builds all the way to GM. Well, masters at least. Then there's some people out there who want to work on the mechanics and do what Maynard's described. Like, you figure out what you want to do as well, because there's two very different aspects to getting good at StarCraft. And is it, do you want a high rank but you can only play one build really well? That's totally fine, but that's one way to go. Or you can work on all the things like Maynard described and have a better overall experience with the game.
Yeah,
yeah, cruiser rushing, so
like there are people that only care about having MMR, and that's fine. I think that kind of mindset will get you to a certain point and then stop, whereas the mindset of just basically grinding your mechanics and builds and trying to play StarCraft basically instead of playing Cannon Rush or whatever is like, you know, maybe you have that as a back pocket build for like every now and then. But like as far as like what happens when that Cannon Rush fails when you're up against a really good player, you need to know what to do in that point, otherwise you will stop progressing. So, you know, I'm not a very high level player, but I know enough high level players, and I've been high level at other games, and I know that is, you know, without a doubt, like an absolute fact in the game.
Cool.
You need to have a follow up if your plan fails.
Great answers. Thank you, guys. Next question from Hydro. If you were a swarm host and realized that you were only made by accident because your hotkey is too close to the Zergling hotkey, would you, through a descent into complete nihilism, suicide by move commanding into the enemy's army?
I'd be so angry at my I'd be so angry at my overmind that I'd launch my locusts at the main hatchery. Whatever
question
hatch from. I would
what has a bigger existential crisis?
Fuck you, father. That's what I'd be like when I'm a swarm host.
What is the bigger existential crisis? The swarm host that's made accidentally that late in the game, or the Reaper? Like, we just there's always that one unit that gets made by mistake. Yeah.
The Hellbat that comes out the reacted factory sometimes.
Why is that what it is? Is that it's a hotkey miss, Jon Snow? Because it's often
it's never intentional. You never want one swarm host. It's just an
because for a while there I was thought the Zerg players were clowning because anytime they were winning there would be one swarm host, and I'm like, is this like building a nexus near someone's base? Like what are we seeing here?
I don't do it much.
It's not the mana removal, that's for sure.
The other thing that some players did back in like HOTS is they would hit the X key with their banelings and explode them by accident because it's near the Z key. I've seen that happen too.
Yeah. Oh, I saw that
Didn't
in pro
they
game.
happen to Lambo or something in WCS?
Maybe.
Or somebody.
It happened in WCS once.
You got to change those hotkeys if they're too close. All right, that was an excellent question, Hydro. Thank you. Next question from Milo. That's a great name. That's my dog's name. A lot of other sports emphasize practice more than performing. For instance, when I was younger, I did jiu-jitsu. We would spend most of our time drilling and not actually sparring. This could be applied to other sports like football. As we want to consider SC2 and esport, do you think that this kind of thought process could transfer? Are there anything that you guys do to drill mechanical skills?
I mean, I have a quick thought on that. That is that the 1v1 aspect of that in jiu-jitsu is a pretty good comparison, and there is ways to work on mechanics that are good, like grinding on mechanics. But I think that there's a lot of things you got to worry about in StarCraft 2 that I think playing the game is going to help you out a lot more than just focusing on, you know, specific mechanical things. But going into games with that with a focus on mechanics is good, but still play the game. I mean, don't just like I think Arcade has like micro trainers and stuff like that. I've seen a couple of them. They're pretty good, but I mean, you can be amazing at splitting Marines, but if you can't macro, then you're going to die. You know, it's like you have to do all those things at once.
It's weird because like CSGO kind of has that different ways you can practice, because like you can just practice shooting people in like separate maps. But like in StarCraft, there's not really, I guess it's just that Marine splitting, which is good. And I guess
There's a multitask trainer as well.
yeah, the
from
one thing
memory.
that I know Zergs do is they'll practice their inject sometimes, especially if you're switching to a new method, like the camera hotkey. So you just drill that so you can get that really quickly. Because I know Cyril has like really insane fast injects. He can go through like all his hotkeys like quicker than everybody else. It's weird.
Yeah. This kind of it goes to something that I study a lot, which would be like deliberate practice. And I think it's a really fascinating thing, but StarCraft isn't there as much right now. Like you guys mentioned, there's some micro trainers and things like that. There's definitely some hotkey practice you can do. Back in StarCraft 1, I bring it up a lot. There was a Mutalisk micro map that Zerg players spent hours on daily in single player just practicing Mutalisk micro because it was so important back then. Right now, our pro scene is healthy and good, but we don't have many coaches. We don't have many peripheral people whose job it is to improve upon this. I think that this is something that, as StarCraft continues to regrow and stuff, maybe if StarCraft 3 comes out and gets really gigantic with more of those periphery coach positions opening up and stuff, we can see more stuff like that. And it definitely could help. We literally don't have it right now. We don't have these good methods. We have a few things that you can try, like these guys mentioned, but there's not like a set way. It's still like a new game. It's not, But yeah, that's a good question. All right. From Shampoo McTavish. Last episode, you were asked by someone to do an analysis segment about why Maru has been so dominant lately. You said you did not want to do it because it was not asked as a question. So I'll give it a go. Assuming you had a podcast where you did analysis segments, how would you, word for word, analyze Maru's recent dominance?
Um.
Oh man.
Uh,
He's pretty good at everything. His stats are all 11s on a 10-point scale. You know that diamond thing? It's like outside of the edges. It's like my kids colored it and they didn't keep it in the lines.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, yeah, he's just solid at everything, and has very few people that can match up to his level. That's my thoughts. I don't know. Anyone else?
I think he's got that confidence now too. I feel like he thinks he's the best. We haven't had enough cocky players. It's just Dark. He's like the only one.
Yeah.
If I was as good as Sarah,
Dark ceremonies were so good, ripping up the papers.
Yeah, I loved it. Oh, so good, ripping up the posters.
Yeah, if I was as good as Sailor and Eve, I'd talk shit 24/7. That's all I'd do. Should call people on.
I've said that to so many people. I'm like, dude, whenever we brought up players not being very interesting, or like when Fear Dragon had that thing for Valencia, like a competition of the best ceremony. Yeah. I'm like, dude, if I was good at this game, half the people would really love me and half of them would really hate me, and there'd be no one in the middle.
That's the way to do it, man.
Because I would be a complete douchebag on stage. I would talk shit, but if I could back it up, I would talk even more shit.
That's true.
But I'm terrible, so I can't. So I'll just commentate instead.
Thank you for turning that into a question, Shampoo McTavish. On to the next question from Epor. That's like a P and a B altogether. That's a crazy letter. Who do you think is the third most likely to win the current GSL? Who's the third most likely, guys?
Like who comes in third place, not who comes in first?
No. Who is the third most likely to win, not who's going to come in third?
Oh, totally.
Who do you think is going to win GSL right now? And then who do you think, if that guy doesn't win, this guy will
win?
They
go down 3 levels.
And then,
okay. That confused me a lot. Math on stream, am I right, guys?
It's a rule of thumb out there for all you guys that are commentators. Don't do math on stream. Don't ever do it. Even when you think you got it. Let it go.
It's crazy. I'm gonna actually say Neeb on this list for me because we already know 2 goes to Sue. So Sue can never win. So he take up my second spot though because he's number 2 and everything. So take away everyone else who I think would be 1, and I'm left with Neeb as 3.
So it's TY Neeb, Zest Stats, Maru Gumio, right? Is that who's left?
Mm-hmm.
Out of those guys, third most likely? I think Gumio. I don't know.
I was going to say Gumio too.
I was actually, yeah, me too.
Who's your first and second?
I would say Maru TY.
Oh, I was going TY and Stats actually. TY Stats Gumio.
I'm with Jon Snow. It was all 3 Terrans to me, top 3. Terranimbo.
Yep, clearly.
See, it's
okay.
weird.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, it's just a weird question because like it's got me thinking very differently about this than you would normally. And
Yeah.
like when you see all three Terrans, like exactly, I actually see them taking first place, so I don't actually consider them to be third, if that third in line to take first place. And so that's where like stats actually suddenly makes a lot of sense to me. But this is whatever. I've already
that's actually a really good question though. Like because it makes you think. It's not like who do you think is going to win GSL? Who do you think is the third most likely? Because you actually have to go through it for a moment and really put your brain out there, right? So great question, E-Poor. All right, from Melty. If you were 12 cookies and you had to be eaten, who would you have eat your 12 selves? Keep in mind that you can beat eaten by multiple people.
Just to start, if you were 12 cookies.
Yes. You were 12 cookies.
Who
Like,
were the
now
12
we're talking
people
like
I would let eat
Subway
me?
cookies, raisin cookies, like good cookies, bad cookies.
I would be oatmeal cookies for sure. I don't know about you guys.
Dude, oh
In
wait,
Australia?
Rifkin, I
All
think you'd be ginger snaps, man.
dude, Artosis, you ever had those dad's cookies, oatmeal cookies? Because those are like the best.
Really?
Next time you go back to Canada, get some dad's brand cookies.
Okay, I will try them.
In Australia, we have Anzac biscuits, which are basically like kind of an oatmeal cookie. They're like something that they made back in World War One, and they're like it's a big staple here in Australia. They're really, really good. They are my favorite, and I would be one of those cookies. But I honestly don't have 12 people in my life that I trust enough to eat me. So I'm.
Probably
So,
just
I mean, you
someone-
can have one person eat all 12.
I have to ask you guys, I'm sorry, while we're on the topic of cookies, opinions on raisins and cookies.
Amazing.
It's fine.
Oh,
Very good. Very good.
Raisins are great.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
go
but
ahead and
you're one of those
follow
don't
you
want
on
pineapple on
Artosis,
pizza.
please, if
You
you could
actually just don't enjoy things.
Okay, I have a serious answer to this, the 12 cookies thing. I would basically be like Voldemort. I would spread my 12 cookies out around the world like they're Horcruxes. Okay. And they wouldn't be like, you'd have to eat all 12 cookies to get rid of me, and it would never happen. Like I'd be in like a vault at the bottom of the ocean and like under an iceberg, and like you couldn't get all 12 of my cookies, so I'd be immortal. GG. Okay.
Nice.
Isn't
Thank you.
it would you eat your cookies, not how would you keep people from eating your cookies?
Well, you would pick someone and then.
Look, if he can make me 12 cookies, I can spread my cookies around the world like Horcruxes, okay?
Magic clearly exists, so stop asking me something dumb.
Yeah, no, I can change the rules of this question. I'm the host of this show.
Well, on that
All
note,
right.
pick someone who's gonna die tomorrow so they can't eat your cookies, then you would live forever.
Oh, damn. That's a good idea.
I
In
was
fact, they
gonna say
choke on
someone-
my first cookie. That's how they go down.
Oh my god, you
Got
murderer!
it. My cookies are in prison. People
You
are
are
trading
Voldemort.
cigarettes for my cookies. Oh, no, it's terrible. Okay. Thank you, Melty. Next question from Matt500. Follow up to the above question. Would you prefer to be dunked in tea or coffee first? That sounds incredibly painful.
I'd say tea.
Yeah, it's it too.
I think coffee is a little bit more acidic. It'll
Well, wouldn't you
burn
want
a little bit more.
or moist?
I would be dunked in tea from AFKT.com.
AFK tea. Ah, nice. Depends on the tea.
Right.
Dunk me in the green tea.
Next question from Dr. Cobra. What are some of the hardest micro tricks in StarCraft 2 or Brood War that viewers take for granted in pro games? Oh, that's a great one for you, Jon Snow.
It's StarCraft 1.
Well, StarCraft 2 is fine.
Yeah, it's StarCraft 2.
Yeah.
I would say I guess all the War Prison tricks are pretty good. The one good one I like Zerg can do is where like the Widow Mine is trying to attack your drone. They make a spore before it hits. I think that's a fun one.
Ah, yeah.
And other than that, Zerg doesn't have anything good. The biling and moving Overlord. That's always fun.
Yeah. For
Brood War has so many micro
yeah, I
things.
feel like the cool
Like
one.
carrier micro, lurker hold
Micro
position,
people-
worker micro is a big thing. Like people, I would say as a viewer of Brood War, someone that doesn't play it, people would see workers fight against units and think, oh, they're just A-moving them.
Mhm.
But it's actually like a really intense, horrible thing to micro.
Things
Oh,
like
something-
the first 4 Zerglings in StarCraft always impress me too. When you see somebody micro perfectly, like the early Ling fights and
yeah.
stuff.
I would say also microing sieged tanks in StarCraft 1 to target like Dragoons or something during a big battle is really incredibly hard to do well. And occasionally you'll see someone do it well, and it's like, whoa. And I think no one realizes just how hard that is to do.
Actually, I don't do a lot of Brood War, but one micro trick I really appreciate watching all Terrans pull off is moving a Goliath any distance. That's always
Yeah,
really
that can be difficult. That's trying to get a Goliath next to a wall. Oh my God.
Up a ramp? I mean, God, how do they do it? They got to be creative. Like,
yeah, basically.
Yeah. Feels like just playing Brood War is a pretty huge micro trick. A lot of people don't appreciate.
All right, next question. Thank you, Dr. Cobra. From MimeGG or Mimeg, could be either one. This is huge. Oh my God. Okay, let me scan this real quick. Regarding the war chest, love the idea. Starcraft 2, Esprots. Income. This is so long. This is like, it's too long. What I'm wondering about is, so basically this person likes the war chest. What should be achieved by increasing the prize pool of the tournament, which is anyway the most hyped, prestigious thing. Pros will train is hard anyways.
I think he's saying don't put it towards a prize pool.
Yeah, BlizzCon's already the biggest, so put it towards something else that would grow the scene.
Yeah, that's actually, we had a question before on the Pylon Show where people were asking if you could put $100,000, what tournament would you give it to for prize? And I basically said that. I'm like, it's not about giving Cyril and Rogue and Maru more money. That's not how you help things. So I would agree that that's not necessarily the best use, but I'm not against it either. I think it's pretty cool to make the winner super rich and stuff.
Yeah, it builds more hype.
Yeah.
And they want BlizzCon to be the biggest by a big margin.
Yeah. So I'm not against it, but I mean, I think that there's other things that can be done with money that are really great too.
I'm with him there. Like he's just basically asking, like, I think he wants to know where war chest money is going and where it should be going. It's like asking our thoughts on it. So it's pretty straightforward. I think that I think BlizzCon prize pool, I'm with you there. I think it's cool, but I would love to see 200 grand go to just making 2019 WCS in general look better, or maybe making an extra, I don't know, adding something extra cool, like a new technology or something like that. Maybe even, I don't know. There's a bunch of cool. A lot of $200,000 does not equal a WCS spot. It's a lot more expensive than that. I can tell you that for free. But it's it could definitely still help quite a bit towards funding, all of those live shows.
What I would love to see out of any kind of excess money, regardless of how much it is like right now you've got people like myself and Wardy, and we're scraping the bottom of the barrel to put down some tournaments. But what do you do if you're the people who aren't in mine and Wardy's position, who can't afford to do these things? Like if Blizzard put on some weekly funded tournaments, like I'll go for StarCraft style, but it was like actually Blizzard run and Blizzard funded, and they just said like, look, any small community streamer can cast this. That way, it's not like people like myself and Wardy who would necessarily be jumping on it, but it'd be a chance for the other people to kind of use it to grow. Like for us on Base Trade, we used Zotac Cup to grow, right? I could not afford to host weekly tournaments when I started casting. It was whatever I could get my hand on. And for me at the time, it was just Zotac Cups. Other people were running it. I was allowed to cast it. There was a vacancy. I filled it. And if you had all these people who had an opportunity to do something like that, where it's Blizzard official, like I think that would be kind of cool. If it's not enough to like if you don't have enough excess money to create something incredible like another WCS event, maybe make something that's consistently in the background so players can earn some cash every week, content creators can benefit from it too, and use that to try and grow themselves. Just my thought.
I like that. I like the idea.
You still have to get like an admin or someone to run it, I guess.
Yeah, find someone like with experience, like Deers, for example, or somebody who's been doing it from ESL. Like there's a plenty of people who have the resume to do it,
Sure. All right.
And then tell people where that war chest money goes as well. Like we have put this much $ towards this. Would be really cool to show the community.
Even if it wasn't casted either, it's just something too where it's like, look, you put out a weekly tournament for players to actually have something to play in. That's not necessarily Base Trade TV or Wardy at a time that they can't play. And like right now, there's like no NA events going on, period. Like unless it's like somebody throwing a show match. How cool would it be if, like, even if nobody was casting it, Jon Snow suddenly had a $200 a week cup he could play in, like, the Alima League, but in his time zone?
Cool. I like the ideas. I think we kind of generally agree, but I don't mind it going to BlizzCon as well. It's kind of cool to be like $700,000. That's insane.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
I'm all for this going, like, full international. Like, if we had a $1 million prize pool, that'd be so cool.
Yeah. I'm fine with it not being $1 million, too. StarCraft is a cooler game anyway, so that's fine. All right, thank you for the question, Mimeg. Now on to the next from Uturpu. I don't know. That's a really weird ID. Hello, Frank Control at Bearson. We're a StarCraft unit. Which unit would he be and why? All others, do you have pets? If so, what are their StarCraft spirit animals? So we'll skip the control part. I know you have a dog, Maynard. What unit is he?
I do. God. My dog would probably be an adrenal upgraded Zergling,
Okay.
but way better looking. Is a really very, very handsome dog.
I have a cat that's currently with my parents. She would be a corruptor because all she does is piss on everything. I love her. She's old and it's terrible.
I have a dog, Milo. I think he'd be a Baneling because he just explodes with happiness every time I come home.
Aw.
You have any
The
pets, Jon
highest
Snow?
happiness per second.
I have 2 cats, so I guess they're a pair of Zerglings because they're brother and sister.
Oh, perfect. Do they have speed?
No, they're pretty slow.
No. Oh, that's too bad.
My dog has speed.
Those
I
Zerglings are one of the
think
weaker
like
units.
one has speed, the other one doesn't have speed.
My dog's got speed, adrenal, and maybe +1 attack.
Okay, that's
Like this is a Zerg that forgot his upgrades but remembered Hive. That's what my dog is.
All right. Thank you for the question. Next one from some drunk Canadian. Damn, we have a lot of questions today. All right, we're going to go a little quicker here. Yeah, no, a lot of people are asking.
round.
Lightning round. Some drunk Canadian asked, the meta in SC2 constantly is changing, whether it be due to Blizzard, some of these sentences, whether it be due to Blizzard making balance changes or a pro gamer creates a new strat that sweeps through ladder. How much longer do you think the current meta of sentient foods related questions in the pilot show will last? What will you think cause the meta to shift? So on and so forth. I would say it is going to last until we get Roddy on here again. Thank you for your question. And next one from Zaros. Question for all. Do you think the unit skin should be allowed in WCS? Whoa.
We already talked
This
about
guy
it.
asked it yesterday, though, and he did not know we'd be talking about that.
Ooh.
Cheers, Zaros. You guessed one of the things we talked about this week. All right, another question from Hydro. If Nick Plot were a sentient hot dog, would he still be tasteless or would he be tasty?
Ooh.
I don't know anything about how hot dogs taste. Maynard, what do you think? You're close with Nick.
If tasteless was a hot dog, I wouldn't want it anywhere near my mouth.
All right. We'll go with that.
I would never find out.
Yeah.
So it'd be tasteless because you would never taste them. Understood.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. He's tasteless then.
It tastes-
All right. From Gunner70. I have a feeling you might be covering this in the main segments of the show. If so, please skip. Okay, so addresses the elephant in the room, the horrific events in Jacksonville, cancellation of remaining Madden qualifiers. Do you think that the fallout will be greater for the esports community? Do you hope organizers will do anything to help prevent this in the future? He has never been to an esports event, so he doesn't really know how the security is handled and stuff. Yeah, so that's basically the question overall. That
There's
very
actually-
sad that it occur.
Just a small note there, in case people haven't seen, DreamHack's already responded to this. They've already addressed that they're looking to change up the security for future events and stuff. Like, I know that the security is a big topic, especially when you got people like Summit1G mentioning it on stream and Twitter.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of places are rethinking it right now.
I wonder how many DreamHack summits been to recently, because all the DreamHacks I've been to this year for WCS have had someone bag check me.
Oh, really?
There's, yeah, but bag checking, but then there's also like, and I don't want to give anyone ideas, when people bring their computers to the BYOC, nobody's opening up the case. Like, just throw 3 guns in there. There could be no computer parts at all. Like,
But I mean, like the thing that happened in Jacksonville, I'm pretty sure it was just a guy that just had a piece inside of his backpack because it was at a bar, right? It was
yeah,
like
he
there was
the story's
a different
allegedly
environment.
he was upset that he lost, just whipped it out over an argument, and then that's how that started.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different environment, and I think that the security for that event was, almost I'd have to be close to non-existent for that kind of environment, because it was just. I don't know how big the tournament was, but whatever. Specifically for DreamHack, they did do a public announcement that they're going to tighten up security, which is great. And I think at the moment that they do still have relatively tight security. Like even though we're You know, we all got our talent badges, we got the fast lane, that sort of stuff. But one thing we cannot skip is we never got to skip security. They would always, like, I remember Valencia in particular, they would go through all of our bags every single way, on the way in and on the way out, funnily enough.
Yeah, I felt pretty safe at every event I've been to, and if they're up in security, I think it'll be probably fine.
Yeah, and honestly, I still will. Any event I do in the future, I'll feel very safe. Like, I saw some people on Twitter that were like, "Oh, I think that BlizzCon. I'm scared to go to BlizzCon now because of the Jacksonville thing." BlizzCon's 100% safe. Like, there's or 99.9% safe.
They got like metal detectors you got to walk through and stuff. Like for something.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
even TI, like because the international was just in town. They check everything for your bags. You got to walk through metal detectors. Like, and this is before all this happened, right? So I mean, some events are already doing it right. I think people are just concerned that not all events are doing it right.
And if you think like statistically, there's been, I don't know, like tens of thousands of events, and it seems to only happen once. But
yeah, I mean, a lot of people concentrate on when a plane crash happens, but there are so many flights a day that it's
safest.
I mean, not trying to say that this isn't something that matters. Of course, it matters. Like, it's a big deal. But the events can just tighten up security a little bit, and the smaller events make sure they don't have non-existent security from now on. I'm sure that'll be the case.
Yeah. Pretty much agree with what you guys said there. I don't really have too many big opinions about it because I'm not. I guess I never really realized when I'm going through security at an event or something, or if I am, and I work in Korea where there are no guns and stuff. So like you just go into the studio and it's fine, you know.
I just remember in Valencia, like I've been in, like there's different lines of people, and I specifically remember that. I don't remember Leipzig very well, but I remember Valencia being that kind of thing where there was a line of people next to us, of people getting really annoyed that they had to wait for security. And so I
that
remember
was
that.
annoying. I do remember being annoyed at Valencia about the security, but
yeah. But there was definitely plenty of it.
Yeah. All right. From Echoic. Do players in WCS or GSL ever complain about the equipment being used? For example, they don't like the monitor, desk height, chair, or those types of things. Yes.
Yeah, they complain about everything.
Everything. Which is probably the real reason why skins aren't allowed in tournaments, is because there is not a more whining group of individuals than StarCraft pro gamers. It's crazy.
The first event I ever did, BTSL or Hell to Be Time, excuse me. I remember I spent so much time talking with Scarlett and a bunch of others saying like, what should I do for bathrooms? What should I do for PCs? What should I do for monitors? Like, I was so obsessed with making our first event like perfect. So when we looked for specs for things, we made sure they had these types of hertz, these kinds of dimensions on the monitors. And when we got there, over half the people still complained they couldn't stand the computers. They didn't like the setups. Like, and I worked personally with so many of these people to try and please them the best I could.
Gotta get those 144 hertz, or else people get real mad.
Yeah, well, there will always be some problems in some places, but I mean, you can actually negate a lot of that as a player. Now that I've started playing a few Brood War tournaments and stuff in Korea, the first one I went to, my chair wasn't the right height. I now actually have an inflatable cushion. It's my closet. I'm not going to get it right now, but I have an inflatable cushion for camping that I bring with me now. Last couple of events I played in, blew it up and sat on it. My chair was perfect. So,
I don't remember who. Someone at Atlanta last year when we hosted the tournament there, they brought a measuring tape with them, and that's how they were making sure everything was exactly as they liked it, like the keyboard distance from the desk and all that stuff.
Flash has done that for so long. He won a golden ruler. They gave it to him at Afrika.
That's hilarious.
And so Keto does that as well. So really cool stuff. Thank you for that question. Got to keep going through quickly. From Aries, Grats Neeb. If Neeb and Maru make it to GSL finals, how many lazy narratives do you think you friends think we can squeeze into a single best of 7 final? Royal Road, Maru GSL domination, Korea versus the world, etc. Oh, I think we can get quite a few in there. That would be a pretty hype finals.
There is no limit to our lazy narrative ability, guys. We can get real lazy. We really want to. Plenty of narratives.
Well, if we were truly lazy, we'd only use 1 or 2, right?
Yeah,
that is true. I mean, I think that it'd be basically the most hyped thing ever. It'd be great.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind that. And then a Maru Serral finals at BlizzCon. That'd be pretty sick.
That's the only thing that tops that, is the ultimate showdown of like the big guy from WCS versus the big guy from Korea. Even like that best of 1 that they had in the GSL versus the world was hype as hell. It was the first game that went longer than 5 minutes, but it was also just a really, really close, amazing game.
Here's what I want. Okay, just real quick, is Serral wiping the floor with every good player, and it's somehow bad luck of the brackets, Cyril versus Maru round of 4. Cyril, 3-0s or 4-0s, whatever the hell it is at BlizzCon, goes to the finals. And everyone's like, damn, we're going to have Cyril as the champion. He's already beaten Stats and Zest and Neeb, right?
He loses to SOS.
And then in the finals, yes, you got it.
I knew it.
SOS on the other side of the bracket. And he ruins it for everybody. He's like, no, guys, you see how big this prize is? I'm going to win this easily. And he 4-1 Cyril, and it's over.
You're so
And the games are really bad, and they're just like really, really horrible. And SOS is just like, I did it again.
It's like, guys, I don't know what you want. Like, I want to win tournaments too. Yeah, that would be amazing, wouldn't it? He has to do well at
BlizzCon.
Super Tournament to get in, though. So, anyways, thank you for that question. From Bilbo, can Artosis please tell me what Tasteless smells like? Also, almost more importantly, what does Zest smell like? Thanks. I don't think I've really smelt Zest recently.
I have.
Tasteless smells like soap and shampoo, I guess. Not too much of an odor.
They both smell like clean human beings.
Such a weird
human being, yeah.
question. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Humans that take care of themselves. Okay.
I get witchy like that all the time. Anyway, yeah.
From Kilo to Jon Snow, if you were a hot dog, would you eat yourself?
No.
Okay.
I'm just staying in the refrigerator all day. Prolong my life.
You're a
You'd go
donut.
back.
What if you're a
You'd go
donut,
back.
though?
It's a donut. I'd probably eat myself.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah,
You a big donut fan?
Me too. Me too.
It's Boston.
What's your favorite donut place? Is it Krispy Kreme?
I guess Dunkin' Donuts. I don't know.
Oh my God, you don't
Is it
even
like-
have any idea what you're talking about.
You haven't even. You get like. I don't even eat sweets, dude, and I know that there's way better.
If I
donuts
was a
than that.
Dunkin' Donut, I would throw myself into Mordor. Okay. From World is Doom.
Got 'em.
There was a recent podcast with 3 team owners about how owning teams in StarCraft works, and they went on to talk about how Blizzard and some casters have really stopped giving teams exposure that they once got. Some examples given where they don't have logos of the teams at the main bases anymore. Some casters just don't mention the team that players are on during introductions, naming and control specifically without skipping people's introductions in WCS. And also Blizzard not updating player pictures at their events to show them in jerseys in their from their current team. With all of this, they said that they ran their teams while still losing money. What are your thoughts on all of it? I think for me personally, just real quick, it's something that I realize in my own casting sometimes is I won't mention a team enough, so I try to do it, and it's something I'm working on to improve currently. But yeah,
I do it all the time. I make a very if I don't do it, it's a mistake. I usually always call out. I always say Jinair Green Wings is cure, or Ting's Neeb, or Splice's stats, or something like that. I will always say the team name.
But so this is like, and I guess you're going through this fast. So I promise I won't try and blow this
No,
out.
it's okay.
But I think there's a problem with even that. No offense to me, I'm not saying you're doing it wrong. But just mentioning that they're on a team, I don't feel like is going to stir anyone's emotions for that team. No one's going to suddenly start supporting that team. But it's nice to know that they're on the team for sure. I think it's actually a little bit on Blizzard, and for sure, like the representation, it's difficult to do. But unless you're hearing about a team doing something, like I don't know that anyone's going to care about it, right? Like unless the team's like getting more involved with their community, like what you're just supposed to flock to that team. With a game like Dota or something, it makes a little more sense because there's a coach in there. There's more to it than just the player playing. But StarCraft is like a solo league, so if you want the team to be involved, they have to get involved, not just simply put money behind a player.
that's kind of fair. Like some of the teams that I don't know as much about, I have a harder time. Whereas something like Psystorm, I see Psystorm guys all the time. I've talked to some of the people who run it and stuff. They're pretty active. And then there's like whatever team Ryung would be on at a given time. I'm like, I don't even. It's hard to. I'm like, which team is it? What do they do? They have Ryung. I'm like, I don't know. But yeah, I kind of agree. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for the question. It's a good question. It's something we should talk about more in the future on the show, rather than these kind of sped through. Sorry, guys. There's so many questions today. It's crazy. I don't want to keep these guys all day. Well, I do, but I'm not going to. From Alisaunder. The other morning, Stats played Sue alive and practice on his stream, with each player playing the other player's race. It was fun to watch, but at pro level, is it hard to do, or do they know the game so well it doesn't matter? What do you think about that, Jon Snow?
It's hard to do if you don't play it, but a lot of these Koreans, they play their off races a lot. Like my off races are really bad, but they like just do it for fun and they get really good at them.
I'm always surprised how good some of these pros are at
Yeah.
off races because I just don't play races other than my main race almost ever. I play a little bit of Zerg StarCraft 2, and that's about it across the 6 races and the 2 games. I played 2 a lot and 1 barely.
Yeah.
So I'm always surprised. There's a second part of this question. Sorry, maybe we'll do that next week. I'm running a little bit short on time. All right, from Concordia. How do some very young gamers such as Flash and Maru acquire the skills needed to play at a very high level and enter the pro scene? StarCraft is an incredibly demanding game in which it is very easy to reinforce poor or suboptimal mechanics, especially without guidance. Do they usually have coaches or pro gamer parents, or do they learn on their own? Well, no one has pro gamer parents yet.
Yeah, no,
There's-
not yet.
Yeah, the
But I
coaches.
tell you what,
helps.
your daughter will though, Artosis. She will have.
Perhaps one day. I got
have a
3 of
pro.
them. One of them's got to be a pro, right?
That's right.
I think.
I mean,
helps more. So having like having high level friends help you out probably. She can tell you what you're doing wrong. Be like, oh, why aren't you using camera hotkeys? And you're like, oh, I guess I have to learn.
Yeah.
And
I would say
in
with
Korea,
Maru, that's probably
coaches.
how that went. Yeah,
they have really good coaches in Korea as well. For like generic Green Wings coaches are excellent, and these players would have mentorships with people like the older pro gamers that can teach you, like, not so much, they're not necessarily better at the game than you, but they will have a lot of good practice and mindset things, which I think a lot of coaches exist for now. Like the coaches that you have, like in I don't know if you have a coach in Sidestorm or whatever, but there would be people that would help with your mentality when you're feeling low, or give you good practice regimes because they have been pro in another game. I think that's really, really important. Definitely helps a lot.
I'm just imagining like the Asian tiger mom, but like for gaming. It's like, you don't have enough APM.
Your father had 200 more APM than you.
Get those numbers up.
Get those numbers up. There's rookie numbers in this racket.
I don't care about your grades at school. They mean nothing to me.
Why are you getting A's? If you had C's, your APM would be higher. All right. Thank you for the question, Concordia. All right. From Frazamatazl. That's a great ID. Frazamatazl. In the top right, in the red. Frazamatazl. Cyril won GSL versus the world. Neeb in round of 4 GSL. People suggest enacting region lock for Korea now. My question, how best region lock, but still get the best foreign players in GSL so we see the best of the world stacked up against the Koreans. I feel maybe winning a WCS circuit event or IM could give a foreigner a 1-year pass through the GSL qualifiers. No offense to Raynor, Sword of, and Zanster, but they are an example of foreigners taking Korean spots, and what makes me feel bad for the Korean scene. On the other hand, not having Neeb and Serral being able to give GSL a run, which they won't do if they have to sacrifice their time playing the circuit, would be a horrible outcome. What do you think?
Isn't it weird to say that a foreigner can go to a Korea and qualify in the same qualifier as a Korean and say that they're taking a Korean spot and get upset about that? Isn't that weird? I feel like that. Yeah.
A topic I would love for you to do on the show sometime, Artosis, just as like a suggestion. Get like a good translator like Crank or Hajin or somebody, but bring on a Korean or two to talk about, because they are very passionate about this topic. It's not something that's vocalized because they're not people who are on Twitter or posting on Reddit. But as someone who's worked closely with them, and I've heard all of their complaints and some of the bitter pettiness of it, this is like a really big topic that I think would be worth discussing.
I think you're right, because we always look at everything on the show through the lens of the non-Korean, right? Because that's Jeff and I are non-Koreans and we bring on those types of guests. But it would definitely be a lot of work, but maybe we can do something like that, like get on maybe two of the GSL players or something. I'll start looking into that and talk to Jeff and Cobra about it. That would be a cool
like
show.
Like a bigger question than.
It's hard for us to do it, right? Because everything.
Question.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up, Frazamatazl. Okay. Last question in the priority questions from Kilo. Second question, would you guys want to see a Blizzard team league for StarCraft 2? Nowadays, for teams, they only need one good player to be relevant in the scene, but if you have a team league, some of the lesser-known players will also get exposure. I miss a GSTL, Pro Leagues, and other team events.
Do that with the War Chest excess money.
I mean, that's everyone wants to see team leagues. I think more leagues the better, whether it's team or otherwise. And I think team leagues were hype as hell. Pro League, GSTL, I loved it. They were some of my favorite broadcasts. I think there's just not enough teams right now. But if there were enough teams, then sure, I'd love to see it.
Yeah. Well, I guess there's enough teams maybe to make one, but not enough players per team.
Yeah, that's more what I meant. Is that there's NC Sports has 1 player, Splice has 2. I think Solar left.
We've seen stuff like Ballistics temporarily pick up players for like a BlizzCon. It'd be cool to see other teams temporarily pick up players for a team league, and then maybe it goes so well that it becomes permanent. Like it could actually be a really healthy thing.
It could be, yeah.
The only reason to have a deep team is if you were doing team leagues. Otherwise, you might want to just put all your money in like a Maru or like a Serral,
Yeah.
So it could be
Serral could win a team league.
Yeah.
if it's winners league type.
Okay.
Thank you for the priority Patreon questions, guys. I'm going to ask 2 questions in the regular one and let these guys go. All right. First one from Voldicus. Rifkin spoke about having a mod that shows skins for the observers. Could the opposite not be added to GameHeart, where the players see no skins no matter what the settings? Like, would that work in reverse, basically?
No, that's exactly what happened. Like the players would not see skins no matter what was happening. The observers would see them only.
Yeah, why isn't that the case right now? Like, I feel like because they say don't use skins in the movie.
Because that's something you, at least from what we did, I'm sure Blizzard could probably do it better, right? But from what Joey had rigged up, it was something where we had to preset the skins as a team. So like someone would pick Zerg, but there'd be Team Tal'Darim next to it on the player select screen, and we just automatically apply all the skins to that player during the game. I don't know how
you were saying, but if they put a skin on themselves, they would still see it in game.
Yes, it's so they would still see whatever was in game. We just forced it to the stream. Okay. I'm sure there's a way you could do this in a way that works out that would work well for WCS. But I'm just speaking out of the small experience we've had playing with it.
That makes sense.
Cool. Okay, and last question for everybody from TBO. What is your most prized piece of StarCraft memorabilia? This is a Tastosis voice pack for me. No, for me, I have. Yeah, I have a keyboard backpack from Korea. They used to make keyboard backpacks out here when StarCraft 1 was like their second biggest sport, from like 2003 or something. That's like really a sexy little keyboard bag.
I would say for me. Oh, sorry, gone. No, you go. No,
after you.
No, you hang up.
No, I'm gone from my mic. You have to do it.
Oh, okay. Well, he's gone from his mic, so I have to do it. The first ever BlizzCon that I did, I had like a little badge on my lapel that was like BlizzCon, whatever year that was. And for me, that's like a really, like keeping one of those is like, you've obviously done a whole bunch of them, but when I did my first, I'm like, this is the big show. I can't believe I'm here. Like it was. I even talked to you and Nick about it. I was like getting a little. Because I was like, I can't believe, like, in 2011, I was a fan in the crowd just watching you guys, and I knew who I was, and now I'm here with you guys doing this show. And even right now, I'm like feeling it already. Like I'm just that little thing over there is like a symbol of the journey, and it was it's very, very important.
I got 2 different answers for this because I actually have a base trade TV piece of memorabilia I actually really enjoy, but the StarCraft one, and this is really dumb. I kept a napkin from. They did I think it was like the Legacy of the Void lunch party or something. We were all flown out to like a theater in like LA or something. We watched some cinematics, and Mike Moriam got on the stage and he thanked a bunch of the people who came. And I remember like he thanked Base Trade TV, he thanked Rifkin and Zombie. I'm like, this is so cool. And I wanted to keep the reserved seat tape that they had for us, but I lost that. But I had a napkin I just kept in my pocket, and I know it's dumb, but I kept that, and I thought that was really cool. So that sits in a box with all my cool stuff. But my favorite Base Trade TV one, I actually have a broken toy hammer that lights up because we were letting people donate $5 to bonk myself or Zombie Grub on stream. And I got so excited when it was finally my turn because I kept getting bonked and that I broke the hammer before I even got to use it. So that thing rests in peace, but that's probably my favorite Base Trade TV thing I got.
Excellent. Jon Snow?
I have this it's my old Psystorm mouse pad. When I was at WSG, I got everyone to sign it, like Dark and Maru.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
It was a little fanboy moment,
Did you hang it up or use it?
I just have it. It's not hung up yet.
Okay. All right.
Laser said he got Dark to sign his mousepad at BlizzCon before he played him.
Ooh.
Oh, wow. All right. I think that's about it. We want to thank everyone for tuning in, especially our Patreon supporters. We'll put those up real quick. If you want to support the show, you can check out, of course, our sponsor, Matcherino or AFKT, or our Patreon page, patreon.com/The Pylon Show. So a big thanks to all of you guys in there. You can see it's growing, so we appreciate it. And of course, thank you so much to our guests. Some final shout outs from you guys. Rifkin, what's going on in your world? Where can people find you, etc.?
Well, I mentioned I'm actually going to be gone for PAX this weekend, but we're still doing stuff on the channel on Base Trade TV. I may or may not be doing marble games as we speak. But there will be tournaments this weekend on the 31st. We're going to have a European Cup for the Ting preseason. That's $150 open. Anybody can join, no matter what league you are. And then on the 2nd, Zombie will be running one in the Korean time zone. So 4 a.m. on September 2nd. Other than that, just come check me out if you like Starcraft tournaments. I grind them every day, man. We got plenty of stuff. It's goofy. It's not what you'd expect at a WCS casters, and it's far from professional. It's full of marbles. Just twitch.tv/BaseTradeTV.
Great. Thank you so much. Maynard, how about you?
Well, I'm still doing my own thing, man. I haven't got any casts coming up for a little bit. I got maybe some online ones, but nothing really set in stone. I'm streaming as much as possible. In fact, I'm going to be streaming after the show. I'm going to have something to eat and then go live, turn the pipes on, and do some ladder just for a couple hours because I'm feeling like I got a bit of ladder in me. I'm going to do it.
Twitch
And
TV
it's Twitch TV Maynard. I mean, I've been chatting a bit with you guys because I like to interact with Twitch in general, community in general. So just click on my name, click follow. That's the easiest way to do it. If you're interested in that, and follow me on Twitter as well for my thoughts. But I don't tweet super often. It's mainly just.
They're good when you do.
Oh, you like that need one? We talked about that.
That was so good. That was so good.
Yeah. But you know, it's either StarCraft tweets or pictures of my dog. That's all you'll get out of me on Twitter. So.
Cool. And of course, Jon Snow. All right.
You can follow me on Twitter and Twitch. Same thing. I think it's Jon Snow SC2. Try to get those numbers up, and then I'll be at Montreal next weekend. Hopefully, I can go deep. That's always the goal, and we'll see how it goes. Give me the good vibes, you know. There's enough good universe vibes. I'm gonna win.
I would love it. That'd be an amazing series of upsets. Although I don't know if you know this, but I hit you on the Korean ladder, like when you were in Korea.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you killed me with like the 50 drone Hydra push.
Oh yeah, I was.
At that time, I could not beat that build, and I was like, "Why am I hitting him? He's like 800 MMR above me or something." It was crazy. Anyways, I give you my good vibes regardless of this. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. It's been a fun show, and big cheers to Cobra. Of course,
Cobra.
Our wonderful, not
Number
Chobra,
one
Cobra.
Chalupa.
Indeed. And guys, check out In Control's tournament that he's casting right now, twitch.tv/Warhammer. And I think that's about it. Make sure that you check out GSL, KSL, ASL, BTSL, WCS, and Maynard's channel and everything else. So thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later.